This meeting is being summarized.
Everyone, welcome to the May 2026 regular board meeting of the ʻEwa Neighborhood Board. Thank you so much for joining us. This is your community public forum. Your input and cooperation are really appreciated. The ʻEwa Neighborhood Board is an advisory board, and we provide fairness, integrity, and collaboration to all to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to raise their hand, and when recognized by the chair, to address comments to the chair. Speakers are encouraged to keep their comments under 2 minutes, 1 turn per person. Those giving reports are urged to keep the reports less than 2 minutes and presentations under 10 minutes. Please silence all electronic devices. Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead with introduction of board members.
Good evening, Mitchell Tananes.
Aloha, Susan Gorman Chang.
Aloha, Corey Rosenlee.
Aloha, Mike Plowman.
Any board members online? Okay, thank you so much. And this is Treasurer Zachary Espino. We'll move on with the agenda for public safety reports, starting with the Honolulu Fire Department. Okay, I think I don't see HFD. Okay, Honolulu Police Department. Okay, online.
Hi, good evening. Corporal Corey Makino, District 8 Community Policing, online. We also have Sergeant Fumi Muraoka, and I think Corporal Roland Pagan will be on shortly. Stats for the month of April. Motor vehicle thefts, we had 20 in our districts. ʻEwa, we had 10. Burglaries was 14. ʻEwa, we had 4. Thefts was 105. ʻEwa, we had 31. Unauthorized entry into motor vehicle, we had 21 in the district, 5 in the ʻEwa Beach area. Traffic violations, speeding, we had 53. Moving violations was 1,518. Parking violations was 212. Total citations issued was 1,881. Total cost for service for a district is 8,413. And total calls in the ʻEwa Beach area was 2,997. And open to any questions, comments, or concerns.
Okay, thank you so much. Questions from the board? Member Rosenlee.
First of all, thank you. Do you break down the information by the use of the e-bikes? I brought this up in previous meetings and I still see the problem continuing. But do you have the data about how many citations or tickets were given out for illegal use of e-bikes?
We don't have that statistics up now. If you want, yeah, we can probably look it up and probably get it to you guys next meeting.
Yes, I'd appreciate that going forward if you could. This has been a problem in our community. It'd be nice to keep statistics on this just to see that, you know, we are pursuing this. I do have a second question, Chair, if it's okay. I've heard this from our community. Behind Westlock Fairways and Westlock States, we've had a problem of homeless. They have been using trash to burn things, even tires. They've been using the walkways, using mopeds on that, going all times of nights. And I just wonder if there's been any enforcement of, you know, illegal homelessness or trash or speeding in either Westlock Fairways or Westlock Estates.
Is that the bike path you're talking about behind me?
Yes. Yes.
So I know patrol officers do make routine checks of the area. They do drive through the parks. We also have our ATV units that go out once in a while. They're in the ʻEwa Beach area. I know they go down to Habush and do checks of the park. As far as any burning of rubbish, I mean, if you guys hear anything, smell anything, we do encourage to just call it in. and then from there we can address it from there. But yeah, I know the patrol officers have been doing routine checks of the area.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, questions from the members of the public? Okay, online. Go ahead, Ms. Perry.
Oh, thank you, Chair. The question I have for HPD, legislature have passed some laws on bikes. How is that gonna be, how is the public gonna be educated about those new laws on e-bikes and other, traffic or moving violations? That's the question. Thank you.
I believe we posted it on our social media pages regarding the e-bike and the bike laws. We do also, the community policing team, we are going to schools, and we discuss about bike safety and pedestrian safety. We also do sign waving, and we also have offer like community booths for people to come up to us, ask us questions, and then from there we can educate the public on traffic and bike safety issues.
Thank you. Chair, if I can have a follow-up question?
Go ahead.
Okay. What I would suggest is work with the motor vehicle department and insert a flyer of the new bills, because thousands and thousands of pieces of mail go out to the drivers. So I think this would be another alternative and more effective. Thank you.
Okay, well, yeah, we can definitely look into that.
Okay, thank you so
Thank you.
much. Okay, no other questions? Okay, thank you, Honolulu Police Department. I think we have HFD report.
Good evening. Captain Doan, Engine 24. For the month of April, we had 1 nuisance fire and 20 activated alarms, which was no smoker fire. For our medical emergencies, we had 197, 1 motor vehicle collision involving a pedestrian, 3 motor vehicle collisions or crashes, and 1 hazardous materials incident. Our fire safety tip of the month is wildfire prevention and preparedness. So we're entering into our summertime, which is our increased wildfire risk. With dry conditions, tall grass, and shifting winds, 1 sparks is all it's going to take. Most wildfires are human caused and are preventable. So some tips that we would like you guys to take action today are clear dry brush and vegetation around your home. Never park on dry grass. Hot exhaust can ignite it. Avoid activities that create sparks or heat during the hot and windy weather. Stay away from weather and fire conditions. And if you need any more information, we have a website. You can fire.honolulu.gov and hawaiiwildfire.org. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions from the board? Member Rosenly?
It's the same question I was asking HPD. Are you guys aware of fires being set in the back on West Lock Fairways all the way through West Dock Estates on the back, with homeless setting off like fires, burning trash, and that smoke coming into the communities?
Currently, that is outside of our jurisdiction. So our jurisdiction ends on Renton Road and Arizona Road. After that is Waipahu Fire Station's jurisdiction, that area. But if they are overwhelmed, we do go. According to our stats, we haven't been going there this past month, though.
Okay, any other questions? Members of the public, any questions? Okay, go ahead. Please state your name.
Gary Yoshinaga. I'm with Westlock Fairways. Yesterday I met Corey Rosenly, and about 3 weeks ago we met his lovely wife. And I just brought up, my wife did email Corey regarding the fires of Westlock Fairways and what it's causing. And of course, you have crime and burglaries and stuff like that. But my wife has, if you don't mind, she has a few things to share of what we've experienced at Westlock. We've been there for about 30 years now. And my wife, June.
I think you all remember me back in 21 and 22. I'm Junior Shinaga, and we've been dealing with this burning smoke a lot of times at night, mornings before. And we thought it was going to be all solved and done. We were happy for a while, and I was glad that the city came and they did the park recreation to clear the dry brushes. But it came back again, the same burning happening again. And so when it does, we find out the neighbors are getting illnesses medically.
Right.
And from dizziness, from sinuses, now they get cancer. There's so many different things that people coming towards us. And we pray every day for miracles. But just what happened last week, on the 7th, there it goes. This whole trash was burned.
Oh.
And this was given by the federal. They gave me a copy and they said, I'm really sorry it's happening again to your lovely neighborhood.
Yeah.
And he said, please, can you get the help? You know, they're going to try to help with the DLR, with the Department of Land too. And I just want someone to help because I don't know who is actually doing the burning. They're trying to find out. And they're going to be doing a lot more patrolling the areas. And just that I became real ill from all of the burning. So I can't go out when it's burning. It's really bad. And some days are real toxic smelling. I'm sorry. And my neighbors are all coming towards us and say, oh, I'm getting this problem. The smell is so bad and we can't do nothing. So on February 6th, he came in the house when he went out just a little while. This June, I can't breathe. So I called 911. I called the fire department. But when they needed to know where the burning was happening, I can't give them the exact location. So then they said, I'm sorry, we cannot go there if we can't know them. I feel bad. So I don't know what to do. I just hope maybe someone else we all work together and hopefully can get it solved. Yeah, thank you.
And on our
Yes.
streets, we have, just in our street, there's about 5 people
That
that are
dizziness,
experiencing dizziness.
Like I have. It's
So
just,
I took it to emergency a couple of times, one time, they can't figure it out. And it- different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
I can pass this to you folks if you want to see it. This, maybe you have seen it. This was just recently on May. Oh, yeah.
Hey, did you guys check it? Do I need to give them a citation? No.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so with your experiencing of medical conditions, I would suggest to call 911 as immediately. And if you guys see any type of smoke or flames anywhere, just give us a call because then that's the best time for us to find it. Because sometimes what happens is when they do nuisance burning or rubbish burning, it dies down really fast. It's a real big plume and then it dies down. And then by that time, we can't find it at that
My
point.
neighbor that's way down by the golf course area, kind of like by our first street is a ending house, the cul-de-sac. She lives right by the golf course. She said, oh my God, it's day and night. I said, what? She said, it was so toxic. I said, oh no. And I worried because I can see when they burn, I'm not too sure what they're burning.
Yeah.
And it is chemicals too, yeah, the smell.
Yeah.
The neighbors are getting concerned. So they came up to us because they know that we're kind of trying to find it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for listening.
where's the constantly? Oh,
Yeah, I can't breathe.
Yeah, the particulates, yeah. Yeah, to prevent the
Thank
particulates
you
from
so much
coming in
for-
and irritating your sinuses, yeah.
Thank you for listening and hopefully we just
just a
pray.
concerned citizen.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we have Corporal Pagan, which is, oh,
I know that that was addressed to the HFD, but I know that HPD is still online. You know, it'd be nice if we could report back to the community, you know, just what's been happening. If anything happens over the next month, just continue the work that you've been doing. And just so we can share with the residents of Westlock Fairways and Westlock Estates, just the progress that's been made on this issue.
okay, go ahead, Corporal Pagan.
Good evening, Corporal Pagan, Tunnel Police Department, District 8. I am the acting park sergeant. Just to let you know that we are in the process, we got a call from Councilmember Toba's office that they are interested in starting a neighborhood security watch, so hopefully that will help. Unfortunately, a lot of that area behind Westlock along with that bike path and that park area, the reason why federal fire responded was because it is federal property. When we go out there within the past that we've actually gone and tried to check in on the homeless out there, the homeless are very mobile, so they don't have large camps on the city property. But we know that some of them have been in the mangrove and over on the federal property. So we've been trying to work with DLNR as well as the military to see about them getting to their area. But as Corporal Makino said, we do suggest that when you guys see people out there, this kind of stuff, that someone does call 911 and we'll respond and do what we can. Unfortunately, the officers don't go out there every time they see smoke or whatever, unless we're called by HFD or dispatch because somebody called it in. So we do suggest that they call 911. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Follow up with that one question.
Go ahead, member.
Is the Navy's representative here today? Is Navy here? No. Okay, I'll bring it up if they come up later.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Eva Wiedenseed.
Hi, good evening, Corporal Pagan again. Eva Weed and Seed. The only thing I did want to report is that we do on May 21st, we are having our annual golf tournament, Weed and Seed golf tournament at the Hoaka Lake Golf Course. Anyone interested in donating to Weed and Seed for that event, you can contact Ms. Gail Groseros via the Weed and Seed website. Also, we did want to let everybody know that we are doing our 22nd annual culinary class at James Campbell High School this year, thanks to Mr. Lee and the interim principal at Campbell High School. We're going to be holding it there. The class is free to incoming James Campbell students up to incoming seniors. They do receive a half a credit towards graduation. It is free to them. The classes are right now Monday and Thursdays. The class is taught by one of the executive chefs at Roy's Coalina, so it is a great class. Space is limited, so if students or parents are interested in having their student or their child attend, have them please check with their counselors at their school, and they can fill out the application, and then it'll get to us. But that's all I have for Weed and Seed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Go ahead, Member Tainanes.
Corporal Pagan.
Yes, sir.
So Weed and Seed, you mentioned golf tournament. A lot of people just hear golf tournament. Could you please kind of expand on why and what reasoning behind the golf tournament, and what does the proceeds go to for Weed and Seed?
Thank you. The golf tournament is a fundraiser for Weed and Seed. A lot of them, because Weed and Seed is a nonprofit, we are required to raise money in order to get reimbursed for government grants that we get to use for the community. A lot of the money that we do get is used for programs such as our culinary program, our youth mentoring programs throughout the community, as well as for programs with our kapuna, safety, health presentations, health events and stuff like that. So Weed and Seed, for those of you that don't know, it is a program where we try to weed out the crime and we seed in programs. So part of that program is working with the prosecutor's office to be stiffer on crime, but not just addressing the crime issues, but also addressing the need for mentoring and outreach within our community. So it is a great program. It's been around for years. Again, it is something that we do need to raise money for to get our programs done, to pay for our coordinators who work for collecting and try to get the money for these programs. So it is a great program, and believe it or not, one of the reasons that we are one of the districts with the fewest, if any, game rooms right now is because we even see and the partnerships that we have developed with the community members. So if you're interested in helping to keep your community safe, as well as educating your youth and assisting your kapuna, please consider donating to Weed and Seed Hawaii. Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Questions from the public? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, item number 3 on the agenda for board administration. I believe we do not have quorum, so we will go ahead and postpone that. Hopefully we have our 6th member be able to join us.
Out of 11. Oh, yeah, 8. Yeah, the 2. The 8.
Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and move on to item 4, presentations. University of Hawaii Cancer Center, Community Outreach and Engagement. Kali'i Nixon.
Yeah, okay. We need to set it. We don't have to set it.
We only have 5 out of 8. 4 mistake.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we did a half person. Okay.
Good catch. I said 6. Yeah, we have 5.
In my position, yeah.
Okay, so aloha, members of the board. My name is Kali'i Nixon. I'm a community health educator with the University of Hawaii Cancer Center, primarily the Kuola program, and just wanted to let you guys know who we are and kind of we're going to have an ask at the end. Okay, so who we are. So we were begun by Dr. Kekuni Blaisdell, who is a very prolific Native Hawaiian doctor who helped with the Native Hawaiian health services that we have on the islands, as well as Dr. Claire Hughes. She is a registered dietitian or a licensed dietitian. They actually created this program around Native Hawaiian women and with breast cancer. They did a study. From that study, many of the women, they were asking like, what about our men? Because a lot of their men, they were dying. So this is kind of where this program came into address that. So yeah, we address the health of well-being of Kane and their families across the state by encouraging healthy lifestyle changes. And then we've been around for over 30 years. We started as part of the Kane initiative. Then we moved on to being Nokiolapona Onakane. And then now we renamed in 2021 as Kuola. Okay, so these are kind of like our three of our 4 pillars. I'm gonna start at the bottom first. So community support. Whenever we come out to the community and we come into a space, we do pay for the spaces that we use. We pay for any of the food that we use for the other pillar that we have coming after this. And then also we do offer like certain screenings during some of the programs that we give out. Scholarships for people that are trying to get the certified research professional. That's usually offered through Outreach College. So if you wanted to get into research, there are some scholarships that we do provide. If there are any community organizations that would like to learn more, we do a halavai where we get all of the community organizations together and then we give a presentation on who we are, what we offer, and then trying to see where we can work with the community organization so that we can best serve the community that you folks live in. Okay, so this is kind of like our bread and butter, which is our kuka kuka sessions. So these are small, not really group education. There is education because we give cancer education, but it's more about kind of giving men a pause. So like giving them kind of the space and also the opportunity to take control of their health. We have it set in kind of like a halemua framework, meaning that we only have men that are there because we've come to find that a lot of times men, they don't have that time or even like they don't really think about their health. So it gives them that opportunity to talk with other men and like learn from their experiences, from their knowledge. We also always have a doctor available during the session. So if there's any medical questions, doctor is there to answer. Most of our sessions, we try to schedule it for around 2 hours. So that's 2 hours where you have a doctor there, you can talk to them about anything, as opposed to like when you go to your PCP, you see them for maybe 15 minutes. And then we have our 4 health modules, and it's on the 4 most prevalent cancers that are in Hawaii, which are colorectal, lung, mouth and throat cancer, and prostate cancer. And because this is it was a Native Hawaiian kind of program, we have 4 cultural modules that are on like Aipono, which is healthy eating, Loko I'a are the fish ponds, Kaula, which is like the cordage that you use for like lashing like the hulls of the canoe, and then also Kule or prayer. And then the picture that is our previous doctor that was on our staff. The doctor that we have now, his name is Rick Akau. So our ask. So we, to be very transparent, we have had a little bit of unluckiness in terms of trying to find men's or create men's groups. We did just have a kuka kuka session in Waianae today, where we did Aipono, and we're also scheduling another session in Kapolei, but we'd love to have a session if we can in this community. I actually come from this community. I've lived in ʻEwa for more than 20 years, went to Campbell, just recently moved to Kaka'ako to be on my own. So in terms of recruitment, we are looking for any kane that are 18 and up. In terms of like the screening stuff that I mentioned, for one of our screenings for colorectal, we do give out the fecal immuno test free of charge. They just would have to be within the screening ages, or if you really you want to know, we still will give it to you, again, free of charge. You would just take it to diagnostic labs. They will give you the sheet and everything. And if you don't have a PCP, you would just follow our doctor would give the information. If it's negative, if it's positive, then they would follow you for the entire journey, or the information will go to your PCP. So again, our ask is if there are any men's groups that you folks know of that we can contact, that would be great. Or if there's any other ideas of how we can do better recruitment. We are always open because we want this to be a community-driven program and not just be us come in, tell you what you need, and then leave. Okay, so this is our contact information. This is our email, our phone number, the QR code that is to our website. We do have a Facebook that we try to post as much as we can. And we're trying to start an Instagram as well. And then if there are any questions, I'm here. I'll stay probably for the entire meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions from the board? Okay, Member Tainanes.
For guys, this kind, for checkups and all that, we all, I don't like, but I'm very appreciative that you came out here and give it another avenue for Kanes to go out and get themselves tested. I just went to a funeral of one of my good friends' brothers. Left us way too early because of this, one of these cancers and stuff like that. And I'm just hoping that a lot of our men out there just say, hey, we got to do it. We live on this earth so short in this time, and it's so easy to do. Everybody, and this is just makes it a little bit more comfortable where you can do it at home, discreet, turn it in. So thank you for coming out.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Miss Perry.
Thank you, Chair. What is your position on vaping and cigarette? Is question 1. I know legislature bill they were gonna have free screening for colon cancer, but I'm not sure if that bill passed. What about the men in prison? Have you considered the inmates for your study or your treatment? Thank you.
All right, mahalo for the question. In terms of vaping or cigarettes, most of the time we always were trying not to promote that because that is one of the risk factors, as well as drinking alcohol. So we always just try to go with what Dr. Kikuni Blaisdell would say is that it's not Hawaiian. And then in terms of your second question, I am not entirely sure of the funding because I'm kind of on the lower scale of at the Cancer Center. And then your third question, I'm not entirely sure if they would be able to fit in the IRB or the kind of like the consent that we have because the prison population, they are kind of considered like a vulnerable population. So it might make it a little bit more difficult in terms of the recruiting that we have at this current time. But we are currently trying to rewrite the grant. So we could also probably put that into our next grants.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Okay, go ahead, Senator.
Yeah, can you share with us, because my concern since I've been there, when it comes to the Cancer Center, and if you see our hearings, very contentious. What I'd like to know is what is the demographics for men and women for screening? What is the demographics that we have? What is the age?
Thanks, Senator, for the question. So I'm not entirely sure. It depends on what type of cancer, but I know for like colorectal, the guidelines is 45.
Yeah, so the reason why I asked that question, and I've been asking this question and again, you already said you can't answer the question, but I let everybody know here. The demographics of 45 is for white male and white female. And we've been harping on them before I even came on as a senator. Why are we not having a study? What you try to do right now is great. You want Hawaiian male come over there. But again, our brother that we just lost, he never fit the demographics at the time. So again, if you're under the demographics, treatment is very little to none covered by insurance. And this is the reason why we're losing our family members below 45 and whatnot. So this is the reason why it's great. Your program is great, and we have no problem there, the square building, helping you with the grants. But again, I know you're on the low total poll, but you need to go up the total poll and ask them. If they don't change this thing, there's nothing that we can do to save lives. We can have all these men in the room come to you. If they don't fit the demographics, the insurance company is not going to cover it. So we can screen right now. 29-year-old man, you go to screening, he get cancer. Guess what? He has to pay. They don't cover it because he doesn't fit the demographics. We need to change that narrative because the people that we're losing from Hawaii, all different nationalities, is because of the lifestyle that we have. It has nothing to do with our eating, nothing to do with our genetics. Yeah, it's our environment that is killing us here in Hawaii. So that's something that you guys got to consider because me and Senator Kim, the University of Hawaii, you know already, the Cancer Center, we've been harping on that for a long time. And there's nobody, the only one that wanted to step up and get the grant, I don't know if they ever got it approved, was Waianae Comprehensive. And this is one of the final one, members, I want to say this. Reason why it's upsetting for me is my dad passed away, but he never passed away from pancreas cancer or prostate cancer. Because for men, guys, we get the best medicine we can get. You know what we don't have? The best trial medicine for women. You know, and I asked the doctors that in the hearing. Why is that? You know why? Guess who's making the decision? Males. All males was in there. Every single one was male doctors. We get the best that money can buy for testing for men and treatment. My father was cancer-free before he died of other complications. Cancer-free, because the drug that Kaiser would give him was a test drug that would help him with his prostate cancer in his liver, all his lungs, everything went away within 6 months of treatment. But we don't have that. And it's something I understand this a lot, but you got to take this back because I be repetitious. The reason for that is because we're losing a lot of women in Hawaii. And we're not doing as much as we can. We can talk all we like over here. We love our sister, Mara, sister, auntie, sister. But again, when it comes to dollar and cents, zero for our women in our community when it comes to cancer. So just remember that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, if not, thank you. Oh, go ahead, Chair.
So just out of curiosity, do you know if your program was one of the targeted programs to be cut by the current administration?
So in terms of what I know, our grant is through UH Foundation and through my specific one is through the prostate cancer module. It's through the American Cancer Society. So the funding it's good as of right now.
So no NIH funding?
So that I don't know. No, I
Okay.
don't believe it is through ours.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, next presentation from Inspire Church Project, conditional use permit application.
Okay, good evening, board members and members of the public. Thank you for welcoming us into your community tonight and letting us talk to you about Inspire Church's latest project in Holt Pili. My name is Bradley Furuya. I'm a land use planner with PBR Hawaii and Associates. We're a land planning and landscape architecture firm based in Honolulu. And also with me from the project team tonight, Sebastian and Brian to my right, as well as our project architect, Mark. Before I get into the proposed project's design and use, I want to give you some context as to where the project is located. If you can move to the next slide, thank you. You can see on the map here, the project site is located at the southwest corner of Farrington Highway and Iwi Ku'umo'o Street. It's about a quarter-mile west of the Honolulu Skyline Station. It's also within a larger TMK. On the next slide, please. And if you go one more slide, you'll see the zoning. The site is zoned AMX2, which is apartment mixed use medium density. In that zone, the maximum allowable height is 65 feet and the maximum buildable area is 40% of the lot. The next two slides here will show you what the project site looks like today. It's currently vacant and undeveloped. Yeah, that's fine unless folks wanted to look more at the existing photos. The site plan you see now depicts the proposed plan for the Inspire Church Holt Pili project. To give you some context here, on the far right of your screen is Farrington Highway. The upper right portion of the screen is the proposed church sanctuary building. It's a two-story structure. And then moving from right to left across the top of your screen, there's a covered walkway and courtyard area, a children's church, which will operate as a preschool on weekdays. And in the upper left-hand corner, a multi-purpose building, which will house a sports court and bleacher-style seating for approximately 100 spectators. On the bottom portion of the site, you'll see a large parking area that can accommodate approximately 500 parking stalls. And then on the next slide, you'll see our proposed landscaping plan, which is designed to complement the proposed uses and comply with the guidelines of the Ho'opili Urban Design Plan. The next slide will show you the first floor plan of the church sanctuary and children's church buildings. On the next slide, you'll see the second floor plan of those buildings. This shows the elevations of those buildings. And this slide shows you the floor plan and elevations of the multi-purpose building, which, as I mentioned, will house a sports court and bleacher style seating. All of the proposed project facilities that you just saw meet the development standards of the AMX2 zone, including a proposed height of 40 feet compared to the allowable 65 feet, and a proposed maximum buildable area of 37% of the lot compared to what is allowed, 40%. In the AMX2 zone, the proposed meeting facility and preschool uses are permitted, provided that they acquire a conditional use permit. And to that end, the project team will be submitting an application for a conditional use permit with the Department of Planning and Permitting sometime the next month or two. That concludes my presentation, but I, as long with the project team, are available for any questions that you or the public may have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Okay, members of the public, any questions? Okay, Senator Favela.
It's a question for you guys too. We're having a presentation that is good for the community, and you guys cannot take a stand because you guys don't have quorum. Yeah, and it's sad that they bring everybody out to do a great presentation like that, and we cannot do as a board to support the project. So I'm not sure how more forward they're going to move in. I know part of the conditional use permit, they got to make an announcement to the community, but it would be very good because regardless of what they say, whole Peely is in 96706. Yeah, and we should have the neighborhood board who we elect to support great projects like this in a community, and reason why nobody bypasses us moving forward. So again, I don't know if they're going to ever come back out again. But there's something that I don't know if you guys can do, figure it out, because again, they came to do this and nobody, not you guys, but because you guys are here, nobody else that is on the board would even come on Zoom to come to a project like this to support it, to just for you guys have quorum. That is sad. Even though you guys not gonna vote when chairing, but not having one quorum to you guys, to give you guys stamp of approval of this, is very sad. So again, thank you for coming, and I totally support you guys' project.
Go ahead, Member Tainanes.
Just to dovetail off a little bit what Senator said, yeah, we can't make a stand on it, but if possible, keep us in the loop of what's happening, what's going on. Come back after the conditional use permit is going, or when construction is going to start. Maybe bring the contractor along as well, or even with the phases of a project going on. Because there's some bumps in the road here and there, and to have the community support, behind you is good to have as well. So if you can, thank you for coming out. A lot of other developers and stuff, they try to sneak stuff in and stuff like that. I mean, you guys they just come in, okay, we came and we said our piece and bye, and never come back again. So if you can, please keep the community involved and let us know.
We very much want to keep you folks up to date and make sure you folks know what we're doing. So I'm sure the project team will be happy to keep you folks updated.
Okay, come up to the mic.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Melvin Amaral, and actually, I'd like to say to Inspire, today I'd like to thank Jesus Christ, and I'm really happy for Inspire. God bless you guys. Go for God. That's amazing. I'll be praying for you guys 100%. Amen. Praise the Lord.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, I don't see any other questions. Okay, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, folks. Yeah, so we expect to do that sometime in the next few months. We're still waiting on a few pieces of information before we can submit our application, but as soon as we get those items, we want to submit as soon as possible.
Bring this up, board members, and you guys do have quorum. I wish you guys would take this into account, man.
Sorry. I know you talk loud, but no.
You know how you guys break out into committees? You guys have different committees that you guys can get into. I would recommend you guys come to a committee and support this project and bring them back to the full board when you guys have quorum, to at least, because they have a few more months, and you guys still yet can write a letter of support after you guys get quorum, or take them to one of you guys' committees, because like I said, it really means a lot to the community to have you guys support. I know you guys support them. I mean, that's not a given, but I think that would be the recommendation to me for, if you guys can do that, that would be really nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Go ahead, Member Plowman.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for the presentation. Appreciate it. And thanks for coming to talk to us. If you would like the board to take a position, you could easily submit suggested language or a draft for a resolution, and we'd be happy to take a position on that. So that's something that would make it easy for us to take an official position on that.
Okay.
And just to follow up on that, I apologize if you said it and I didn't hear it. But are you guys required to do an environmental assessment on this? And if so, do you know when the public comment period will be?
This project does not trigger an environmental assessment, so we won't be doing a full study. But the area of Ho'opili has had previous environmental impact statements done, and so the information on the expected impact to the environment can be found in those prior documents. Yeah. Question for you folks regarding a statement of support. Would we just email that to board chair, neighborhood commission office? How would that be done?
Yeah, you would email it to the chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another procedural question for you folks. I understand you don't have quorum tonight. Does that mean meeting minutes will not be provided at a later date, or will those still be?
We will have minutes.
Okay.
Member Rosenly?
To the board of the neighborhood board, there we can't have quorum, but we can do, I believe, a support of members present. Is that correct? It doesn't hold any standing of weight, but it would be in the minutes that the current members that are here have a statement of members present. Okay. Okay, so then we can't even move it, but it would basically be a statement of member support in support of Inspired Church's application. Okay. So I'll just put that out. I support that quite personally.
Thank you. Very grateful for that support.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay,
Thank you
moving on
folks
in
for
the
your time.
presentations. Evaluating the impacts of the liquid natural gas strategic partnering agreement.
Oh, sorry. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Wayne Tanaka. I'm with the Sierra Club of Hawaii. First, thank you so much for the opportunity to kind of talk about some of these concerns that we've been tracking with a proposal to bring liquefied natural gas, or LNG, to Hawaii. There's a lot of concerns. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm just going to highlight some top level ones that I think folks should start thinking about. You may or may not have heard about this proposal, but it is being pushed behind the scenes, like pretty steadily, pretty strongly for the last couple of years. And so you're gonna start seeing more public things coming out in the near future, I believe. But yeah, so I'll just really go over what we know so far in terms of the LNG proposal, and then highlight some concerns about public safety, about reliability and cost, which I think are top of mind for a lot of folks looking at this issue. So in terms of the proposal, what they've put forward is, this concept where they'll invest $2 billion to build infrastructure to import LNG and then pipe it onto shore where it will be burned at the oil plants, which will be converted to use LNG and some mystery fuel in the future. So it's going to be a 300-meter long tanker that's going to be moored offshore of Campo Industrial, a couple miles. They're going to have to install a subsea pipeline to shore, and then pipelines on land to the various oil plants that they're retrofitting. And so you can, there's animations, but yeah, you can just kind of keep going through, yeah. And a big part of this is they're saying these oil plants have to be, when they convert them to LNG, they also have to burn a different fuel, because in 2045, we can't be burning fossil fuels like methane, like LNG. Yeah, and they're saying hydrogen is going to be the future fuel, but yeah. And so the governor went off of that report and signed an agreement with a Japanese methane company called JERA. And so in that part, and you can keep filtering through, but in that agreement, it talks about, having JERA basically lend us $2 billion that they'll recover through ratepayers, your electric bills. And in the meantime, the state will, on the state's end, they'll create a coalition of stakeholders to advance energy policy, so essentially promote LNG, and then create a curriculum for other places in the Pacific to also adopt LNG, led by JERA. And JERA and the Hawaii State Energy Office and the industry are going to be spearheading these efforts, according to the agreement. But so one of the things, and so they're saying we're going to save money over, even though it costs $2 billion, LNG is cheaper than oil, so we're going to save money over like the 15 years that this LNG will be using LNG. There's a lot of concerns about that figure, but one of the things I wanted that they're not talking about though is the safety issues, right? Just this year, we've had 3 major pipeline explosions on the continent. Like just this year, in 2022, JIRA's of and then just want to emphasize like oil like will burn, right? But LNG, liquefied natural gas, once you bring it here, it turn it back into gas and gas explodes. And all these facilities, this infrastructure has a high documented propensity for leakage, whether accidental or intentional, because if it gets too warm, the pressure gets too high and they gotta vent all of the methane out before something really bad happens. And so as a result, we have all this gas that can and has led to explosions like we've seen just this year, as well as, sorry, next slide. And JIRA itself had an explosion in 2022 at its Freeport facility. It costs about $751 million in damages. Also looking at JIRA's facilities in Japan, they've had fires every single year from 2022 through 2025. I didn't look earlier, but there might be other things. They started out after the Fukushima thing, so they've only been in operation for about a decade or so. That raises a lot of concerns, right? Because we're going to have this one facility tied with pipelines to the various oil plants. If there's an earthquake or hurricane or an accident, something like Red Hill, or even like an act of sabotage, we could be in a really deep pickle because of there's big public safety concerns as well as reliability. Next slide, please. And just want to emphasize, this isn't like, it's not just JIRA, right? So on the continent, between 2010 and 2020, in a decade, there are about 1,500 reportable gas pipeline explosions, right? So it's not like super uncommon, even though they're trying to represent that it's a safe fuel source. Okay, next slide. And there's also environmental health concerns. So as I mentioned, there's videos online you can see of just the LNG plants and how much with special lenses on your camera, you can see this hemorrhaging like gas, right? And so that's methane, that toluene, benzene. Methane, when it's in the atmosphere, it creates what's called ground level ozone, otherwise known as smog. So if you're ever going to LA and then you get off the plane and you kind of like have a hard time breathing, that's kind of what we're going to start seeing around these facilities and infrastructure, especially if there's not good trade winds, like a lot of times they have on the leeward side. Also benzene, toluene, that can also result in those are carcinogenic things that much more serious health conditions. Also, in other places with LNG facilities, lots of water contamination concerns. So like they use chlorine, for example, to kill all the little marine things that get sucked into their system, and then it ends up in the water. And so in Australia, for example, they totally rejected the proposal to build the same kind of facility that they're proposing here because of those environmental impacts, and also which also creates public health concerns as well. Next slide, please. Okay, and then I want to just talk about the cost because this is a big selling point for the proponents of LNG, right? They're saying, oh, we can, even though we spend even though we dropped $2 billion, they initially said we'll make about like $700 million in net benefits. That was based on a spreadsheet that had $1 billion error. It was missing the cost of the LNG fuel, right? And then and there's other issues too, right? So there's the potential for cost overruns, potential like the fact that we don't have turbines that can burn LNG and then go to hydrogen, which is a completely very different molecule. You need to keep things super cold. It makes the steel brittle. So you just need to re-engineer a lot of things to reuse this infrastructure, which is where they're saying we're going to save a lot of money. Price volatility, like we know what's happening in the Middle East. Like after Ukraine, LNG prices significantly increased. So a lot of people that are using LNG are like really stuck right now with the cost issues. And there's some cost comparisons between comparing LNG and oil versus LNG and renewable and updated oil facilities. And so that all of that kind of brings into question this cost savings conclusion. And all they admitted to that $1 billion mistake, they immediately turned around and said, "Oh, don't worry, we looked at," and he just this week said, "We reassessed everything and we took out the thing with the mistake, but we found more mistakes. But in fact, the mistakes make it so it's just exactly the same situation essentially." Like so, and they still haven't addressed some of the cost assumptions and things that they haven't been addressing. So next slide. Yeah, so this is just kind of the side on the left is where they started. Then they recently this week came up with the slides on the right. The top one, that blue bar, is represents how much money we save if we can reuse the LNG turbines for hydrogen or for some future fuel. It's also based on the idea that if we spend $500 million now, then in 15 years, after 15 years have passed, then we can still claim that $500 million as a savings because we won't have to rebuild that infrastructure. But if you know anything about infrastructure or cars or anything you build, it doesn't retain value over the time. So after 15 years, it's going to be either to the middle or the end of its working life. And so we really won't see that. So that blue bar is kind of an illusion, and they kind of recognize that now. So they have this second alternative on the bottom, and that's without the blue bar. And so in that scenario, if everything was perfect, no cost overruns, nothing, then we maybe make $150 million net benefit from a $2 billion investment or cost, right? And again, so if you have a cost overrun, fire, you have supply chain issues, delays, then that little sliver of benefit is going to disappear, and then we're going to be on the hook. And then that means we have to keep locked into LNG because the company wants its money back. So they're going to say, okay, well, we can't, we'll give you, we won't charge you a ton of money right now, but we'll just spread it out over time, and then we're locked in for well beyond 2045. And I know I'm getting close to time. So maybe just one more slide. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is just an example of some, like it's like cost overruns are kind of a fact of life. Like the rail, it over doubled in cost. Otherwise, Canal flood control project, it quintupled in estimated costs. The prison over doubled its costs. I mean, like just throw a dart at a random massive capital improvement project like they're proposing, you're going to see cost overruns of like 100% to 500%. And so that, again, if that $2 billion is $4 billion and we're supposed to only get 150 million in benefits, then that's $850 million that we're on the hook for. And yeah, so next slide. I wonder if this is oh yeah. Yeah, and so that that's just a kind of a sliver of the, there's also like climate, if you're, concerned about climate change, methane is super bad it's like 80 times worse than carbon dioxide for global warming potential. That's a fisheries impact that we've seen in other places, like in Louisiana, the shrimp catches plummeted 90%. Philippines, similar infrastructure, their fisheries catches dropped 97%. So lots of other issues that I don't think we have time to really to get into. But if folks are interested, if the board is interested, we do have another proposal that we can come and present that's more like what do we do, more detail in terms of, okay, we're not, if LNG is a bad idea, then what should we do, right? And I can kind of glean over like, what the appropriate path forward I think would be. But if you'd like a presentation on the alternative, then I'm more than happy to come back and bring our experts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Member Gorman Chang.
First, thank you, Wayne, for this presentation. So I just want to say from personal experience, I used to live in Southern California, home of the biggest methane gas well blowout in the nation. It is not safe. Yeah, you're right. My personal experience tells me it's not. We were evacuated for 5 months, and you want to talk about health impacts. UCLA is still doing a study, and this happened in 2015. So the health impacts are just horrible. And I can't believe Governor Green is for this. I want to change his name from Governor Green to something else. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the whole idea is so ridiculous. We could spend this money better on, getting people solar panels, or, I mean, there's so many other ways we could, this money is, you're right, it'll lock us in. It's like our state is so far ahead in green energy. Why would we take this step backward? So again, I just really appreciate you. I would like, you to come back and show us proposals on the alternatives. I think that would be really educational. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And there's a slide in the slide deck. I sent you all the full slide deck. So there's one that has kind of top level, like here's what we should be doing, like direct investment in renewables, investment in research development, like dealing with demand, using like smart technologies so that we're not trying to meet everyone's needs with firm power, but that can be more more judicious about what we want to make sure we have power for.
Okay, any other board member Plowman?
All right, thanks, Wayne. Good presentation. I saw your Maka Kilo version as well, and good stuff. I mean, it's clear to me that we need to really look at energy dense solutions for the future as well as water. And I'm thinking we really need to be looking harder at desalination. And I'm gonna take a little risk here and say that we really need to be taking another look at nuclear. And I know what everybody's thinking. Oh, the Constitution says you can't build a fission reactor here. That's true. But the Navy brings them in and out on boats and submarines every day. And it's not unprecedented that you have a Navy vessel plug in, as they did in Kauai, to power. And one potential suggestion is, with the advances in small modular nuclear technology, Gen 4, which is much, much safer now, you could build a ship that's got a bunch of small modular nuclear reactors on them and power the island. And in the case of inclement weather, hurricanes, whatever, disconnect them from the dock and head out to sea with all the rest of the Navy ships. Now, that might seem like a crazy idea to a lot of people, but it's something. My question for you is two. I haven't heard in either of these how much power they think they're going to generate from this overall. And the other is, traditionally Sierra Club is anti-nuclear, categorically. Has the advances in Gen 4 small modular nuclear reactor stuff made the Sierra Club maybe take another look at the potential modern nuclear solutions? Has your position on that softened at all, or are you looking at it?
Okay. Those are really excellent questions. Thank you. So how much power are they saying we're gonna, I guess, need for LNG? It's kind of wiggly. They're only looking at in terms of how much demand renewables can meet. They're only looking at current technology and current storage. But what we know is that renewable technology is like advancing. Like every single year, it gets better and better and better, and it's cheaper, right? And so the storage, fossil fuels like methane, on the other hand, every year it's getting more and more expensive. All that to say, we don't know how much renewables we're actually going to be able to build out, and it could potentially even meet all of our needs. That's what the UH professors are saying, could meet all of our needs now with current technology. But with technology advancements, even if you have doubts about that, we'll probably get much closer to 100% over time. I think the challenges, and this ties into the nuclear issue, is that for LNG to work financially, you have to buy a lot of it, right? You have to buy like 1 million tons per year. That was in the first HSCL report. I think because there's regasification tariffs. So if you buy less, then it gets super expensive and doesn't work. So you have to buy and burn that much LNG. It means we have to have enough demand to meet that. And so that one of the other concerns is, if we have to burn so much LNG that it eats up all the demand, so there's no demand for renewables or nuclear, then we're actually foreclosing those options. So they're selling LNG like we have to diversify. We have to look at all the alternatives, but LNG actually would lock out a lot of the alternatives that we probably should be considering if we want to.
Okay, thank you so much.
And for the nuclear, there's actually a working group last year that kind of looked at nuclear and small modular reactors. I think the conclusion was that we're still kind of maybe a decade away from these things being commercially available and scalable and so forth. So the current technology, it's nascent, it's coming along, and I'm not sure where we'll be at Sierra Club at the point when it's more feasible and practical. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Member Rosenly.
Hi, Wayne. Thank you for coming. I'm watching this, and it just blows my mind. Number one, I don't understand how this could go forward with the proposal and law passed that Hawaii reach 100% renewables by 2045, and Governor Green's own proclamation that we get to renewable energy by 2035, 70% on Oahu and 100% on the neighbor islands. So it seems to me building a $2 billion program, no one's thinking that that's only going to be done for a few years. So this is somewhat rhetorical, but it's still at the point. Isn't this just against the entire idea of getting to 100% renewable energy?
Yeah, and I think that's why I love, and every expert on the continent at UH, everyone who's objective and not tied to JIRA is what's going on, right? And yeah, and I mean, there's things I'm hearing that I'm still looking for receipts for about what's actually motivating this push, but it's a full court. I mean, they've got IQ 360, if you're familiar, Kaimoku Group. They've got Wayfinders Group, some of the most powerful lobbying and PR firms in town on retainer, essentially. Other people have reached out to PR firms. no one will take their call if it's about trying to oppose LNG. So there's stuff going on that I don't think the larger population is aware of.
Chair, just to follow up. And I mean, I saw your map. There's a certain irony to it that they're going to be putting that right next to the huge world-leading battery storage plant we have in Campbell Industrial Park, right?
Yeah.
So they'd be using land that they could be using for solar and battery storage instead of using that instead. They'd be using that land. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank anyone in person. Okay, come to Senator.
So I know you guys wasn't here because you guys couldn't have your guys' meeting when Makaiva Hills was proposed for a new landfill. Yeah. I sent you guys all the chair from Makakilo Kapolei Honakahali's resolution that I wanted you guys to pretty much adopt to going forward. Again, I understand the Sierra Club, we're talking about 50 years of savings. I know I'm gonna be dead by then. Yeah, we're not gonna have enough savings. Nobody been talking about this for over 30 years plus when I was on the neighborhood board and before that. We have the solution for firm renewable energy, but nobody's looking at it. Reason why all of these things is about money. It's about money, guys. It's not about the people and it's not about the project and it's not about renewable energy. We can have 100 solar farm fields, $2 million of windmills, and we're not going to reach our goals because it's set up to fail. Like when they did the Kuku one, they couldn't even tie it in because there was new energy from 1882 technology. How are they going to work? So you already know, you've been in the square building. I've been harping on this for the last 8 years since I've been there. Why are we not looking at the other models? Since you started bringing Japan and all these other countries, why are you guys not looking into Indonesia and other countries who have a real clean waste to energy plant? Not like the junk one we get over there in Campbell. Yeah, that's not an energy plant. That's an energy drawer. You guys know that we get fined every month for not giving them enough rubbish to burn. Your tax money. Your tax money, all of ours, every month. The city don't say that, but they don't entertain this is because waste to energy is the solution for no landfills, no more windmills, no more solar farms, no more taking up land, no more taking up any more of our INO, but they don't want to do that. Waste management is the largest polluter in the nation, and they're always inside the rural areas. So I said this board before, and I'm going to say this again. If you really want to do something, if Kurt, the no did nothing mayor, did something, we would have had a waste to energy plant started already. Senator De La Cruz kept on saying this when we brought this up 8 years ago. The state has land. I don't know about now because the federal subsidies are gone, but at one time, the federal had money to give to the states that wanted to do a true waste to energy plant to zero to no CO2 emissions. But did Hawaii city or the state jump on that? No, my bill didn't go anywhere in the House. It passed unanimously in the Senate, but it never went anywhere in the House. A true waste to energy plant, every neighbor island can ship. Right now, they're talking about shipping our rubbish. You remember? He was on the board. Tautopo did that, Councilman. What happened? We paid $6 million for the facility, and we never asked permission to ship it. $6 million of all your guys' tax money down the tubes. So this kinds of stuff, you guys got to rethink outside the box. If we do not start now, we'll get a big riot when it comes to the Makaiva Hills when they want to build a new landfill. Nobody's happy about that. And the mayor had these meetings in January and November of last year, and we just found out now. And this is why, again, told the mayor when he first got in, same like Kurt Caldwell, said the same thing. If we wouldn't put this in, you guys' term is 4 years, right? 4 years, 2 years, 4 years? 2 years. He has 4 years, 4 years, that's 8 years. 4 years for planning and designing, 4 years to build. So imagine now, if Kurt did it, it would have been done. How long are all these projects you're talking about, all these billions of dollars, could take for infrastructure? We already have the location, it's in Campbell Industrial Park. We already have the hookups and the facilities to do it. So again, something that you should get. I don't know if you had testified. I never see your testimony when I submitted the waste to energy plant, but Google them, guys. True waste to energy plant, Indonesia. They went so far that they never have one rubbish in their city, that they had to go to the landfills and dig up the landfills, clean up the landfills to burn rubbish. So that's the way of the future. None of this other stuff like that sounds good, sounds great, everything like that, but it's going to be costly to the taxpayers. Want to do something that's less costly is waste of energy. And again, we're going to save the INO. Thank you.
Okay, I think we had one more question. Okay.
Good evening, Melvin Amaro. Actually, I'm opposed to this deal. I have a lot of information, so I'll give my summary. But at the same time, this deal was done illegally. It was without the will and the consent of the people. There has to be a lot of planning. There's going to be so much more that we don't know. The cost is going to be so high, to this project. There are better alternatives that we can get done. Aloha.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have people online. Miss Sherry Pollock.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, first, I just want to say mahalo nui loa Wayne. Excellent presentation. Really appreciate the words that you shared. And what I'd like to speak to is there was a resolution at the legislature this last session that had to do with just basic common sense guardrails that should a deal go forward with a project for LNG, that these guardrails would be put in place to protect the community from financial risk. And JERA, the company, this big, huge global company that they've made this partnership deal with, came out in opposition to this resolution. So I'd like it if you could speak to that, how this company that we're supposedly gonna get into bed with has come out publicly in opposition to basic guardrails that would protect the public from financial risk for an LNG project. And in fact, as a result of their testimony, the resolution got gutted, by the way. So if you could speak to that and a little bit more about JERA, this company that they want to partner with. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sherry. Yes, so, again, we don't know, there hasn't been any real formal specific proposal, so we don't know like all, what their plans are. And so there was a resolution introduced to kind of say, hey, if you move forward with this, we urge the PUC to make sure ratepayers don't foot the bill if something bad happens, right? Or like what's going to happen with Neighbor Island? Do Neighbor Island folks have to pay if, there's a cost overrun? Like those are just basic consumer protections. But and also to make sure that we only buy as much LNG as we actually need, right? So we don't lock into a deal where we have to burn, a million tons or 500,000 tons of LNG, and that was the resolution that JERA opposed, because they don't want to lock themselves into something that they know is going to make them lose money, right? So they want us to take the risk, and they get all the reward, and we take all the liability, all the risk in case something happens. And that's the if you look at JERA's, the people that have been tracking JERA's corporate model, it's like they kind of have a little shady, deceptive trade practices and like shady trade practices, as well as, they've been called out for derailing regional and global climate goals just because they're pushing LNG as this green alternative, but when it's really like, as I said, 80 times worse environment when it's released. And while it burns cleaner than oil, the whole supply chain from fracking to storage to shipment all the way to burning, it's like releasing like methane constantly.
Okay, thank you so much, Wayne. We have time only for one more question. I think Tara Rojas.
Aloha. Mahalo nui, Wayne, for your presentation, and good to see you here and bringing this to light to the community. How do we summarize this other than greed? Basically just greed over the health of the people on the planet that we always, always bringing forward. And I really hope that this board just stays on top of these issues, and then that now you can see that with what is being done with this proposal and going behind the backs, of the people, that this is pretty much how it is with so many other issues here in Hawaii. And so just to stay on top of this and just to stick together, and as Senator had mentioned about how this is tied in also to the uproar and opposition to the Makaiwa. There's an uproar opposition to this JERA. There's going to be an uproar opposition to other forms of supposed energy solutions, such as geothermals coming around for DHHL lands, and then also possibly, you know, for non-DHHL lands. And usually I'm on point, or I agree with what your suggestions with the board member, but I do not agree with the nuclear neither. So there's just a lot that for us here on an island, you really have to think carefully and well about. It's not the continent. We're limited amount of land, and the systems that are proposed to be in place need to be sustainable and for long term. So I just want to bring that to everybody else's comments as well, because this is something that we cannot allow here in Hawaii. So mahalo nui.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, item 5 on the agenda, new business. We do not have quorum, so we won't be able to take any board action, but I will allow Member Plowman if you would like to say anything about this resolution.
Well, we've already presented it, and since we can't take any action, it seems kind of pointless at this point, because we'll probably end up talking about it again next time. So in the interest of time.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll go.
Actually, though, I would give you an update.
Yes.
I presented to Makakilo. They passed a very similar resolution. Pearl City passed a similar resolution, and Waikiki maybe as well. So, and they're all a little bit different. For example, Makakilo has concerns about the Kalaeloa Tower that they wanted to add, and helicopter flights, as well as Pearl City had. Theirs was helicopter issues centric, I would say. But yes, several neighborhood boards have passed resolutions except us. So, but I'm sure we'll talk about it next time. So thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Member Plowman. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 6 on the agenda, residents and community concerns and community announcements, limited to 1 turn, 2 minutes per person. Anyone in the room? Go ahead.
Aloha, Chair and board members, Senator, community members. My name is Barbara Natal. This is my husband, Chris Natal. We are the owners of Fairway Tavern. We just opened 2 weeks ago. Our restaurant is at the ʻEwa Villages Golf Course. It's a city course. We have partnered with Adam and Sunny Gilbert. You may have tasted Chef Adam's dishes at Plantation Tavern, which was at Kapolei Shopping Center prior to COVID. And now we have partnered with them to open Fairway Tavern. Again, plantation style food. I have some brochures that we'll hand out, and there's some at the back if you'd like. Gives us some, it's a list of our menu and everything that we have. We're pretty excited because it is a golf course. We have grab and go for the golfers in the morning. We started sit down breakfast.
Started breakfast from 7 to 10 every day. At lunch. Lunch menu starts at 11 to 6. We're open right now. Eventually we'll be open for dinners probably in a couple months, but it's a nice family style restaurant. Gonna keep it nice for the community, not rowdy and crazy. Just a nice restaurant you can bring the family down. So come check us out at ʻEwa Villages Golf Course. There you go. All right, thank you, folks. Appreciate it. Aloha.
Is that Oldville?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very different.
Okay, thank you.
Aloha.
Okay, Tara Rojas.
Aloha, Tara Rojas. I just had a quick one because I sent a request to be put on the agenda to do a presentation. And in light of the former board, resigning, it didn't get to you all. So I just wanted to know how that works when a board chair resigns. Does any emails forwarded to him get automatically re-forwarded, or should I just, restart again and send it to you all again to request to be on the June board agenda?
You can send it to the chair pro tem. The email's listed on the NCO website.
Okay, mahalo nui.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. Jolie Nomasaki.
Hi, aloha. My name is Jolie, and I'm a community member born and raised in Eva. I currently serve as the community engagement specialist for the Red Hill Registry. I'd just like to take a couple minutes to remind the residents of Eva about the Red Hill Registry, what we do, and why we exist. First off, we track health outcomes among those who are at risk of exposure to the fuel-contaminated water. This is from the Red Hill water crisis that occurred back in 2021. The neighborhood in Eva that was affected by this is going to be Kapalina Beach Homes. However, if you're a concerned water user on Oahu, you can also enroll in the registry, and we do have an expanded enrollment group if you would like to be registered. We also develop educational materials to help community members and healthcare providers better understand this exposure. We also work to connect community members with resources available in their areas. So that can be anywhere from education, housing, anything like that. So enrollment in the registry allows for long-term health monitoring through an enrollment questionnaire and period follow-up questionnaires so that we can identify potential links between the fuel exposure and long-term or delayed onset of health impacts. I just want to remind the community that even if you're not currently experiencing symptoms, it's really important that you enroll in the registry because we don't know the health effects that fuel exposure has to the human body. If you would like to enroll or learn more or contact me with any questions, you can find all of our information on our website. That's going to be redhillregistry.org. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, any other announcements or resident concerns? Okay. Member Tainanis.
Yes, I just wanted to announce the Community Representation Initiative. We have some flyers in the back. We were created by the EPA to engage with the Navy on Red Hill issues. Unfortunately, the Navy decided they didn't want to meet with us anymore, and the EPA allowed that. But our meetings go on next Thursday. We have one. It's on Zoom. You can register on here, and we have two guest speakers: Eva Davis, a retired scientist from the EPA, to talk about the plume that still exists above our aquifer, and scientific facts on, what it takes to, deal with that. And then George Lujan, executive director from a New Mexico jet fuel spill as well. So we're basically debunking myths about jet fuel plumes. And it's not very easy to get rid of them. So if you're interested in that, please register and we'll see you on Zoom. Thank you.
Okay. First and foremost, if you can bring one menu, bring some samples. hide them. Nah. But it was going in my head when a lot of our members were talking about e-bikes, and the HPD and fire and stuff like that. And I've been watching on Instagram of how these e-bikes and they're doing different kind of tricks. They take over the roads. And as a guy who own a big truck and they own the road, who gonna win? And we've had many accidents here, not only in Eva Beach, but around the state on e-bikes, and try to educate our kids. I know as parents, we want to give them most and spoil them as much as we can. But I think the law is from 15 and up, they can have. So make sure that they do that. And I hope, they not to make the parents get busted, but if if one child or even a 15-year-old hit my truck and they, they don't weigh insurance, so what? I'm left with the buck, not a slap on the wrist, not nothing, what gonna happen? Nowadays, I just bought one. I'm not gonna say, I just bought one truck and it's like on house now, on house payment. And not to have that, in thinking about it, and I have 3 young ones as well. So, everything's tight. So hopefully as parents, we educate our kids, no spoil them too much. We can spoil them, but not too much, but let them know. And I would hate to see any more injuries that we have out in our, especially in our community or anywhere on the islands, because any injury, any death affects everyone as a whole. So be careful out there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think we're gonna move on to our other monthly reports. Hunt Communities Update. See them in the room or online. Gentry Homes. Okay, no one in person or online. Haseko.
Hello, good evening. Keola Fisher with Haseko. I'm nothing to report, but I'm available for any questions from the community.
Any questions from the board? Members of the community, in person or online? Okay, no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I think we see Tara Rojas.
Hello, Tara Rojas. I was just wondering, Haseko, I know from many meetings back and for many, many years, I think I forgot what meeting it was already, so many were canceled with the Kona Lowe's, that you're supposed to come back with a report regarding what the board had been asking you, I think regarding some stoplight. I don't know if the board who has been there, for a while remembers. And I'm assuming, I think this is the first time I'm seeing you, but if maybe you could put it on the agenda to bring back. Yeah, what
Sorry,
was it?
Tara. I think that's for Eva Gentry. Gentry
Was it
Home.
Eva Gentry, not Haseko?
Yeah. On Geiger.
Geiger. Okay, but there was something also with Haseko too that was on standby that they're supposed to come back. I think I have to watch the previous meetings again to figure out what it was or look at the minutes.
Okay, thank you, Tara.
Okay, mahalo.
Okay. Okay, no, thank you, Haseko.
Thank you.
Okay, DR Horton, Ho'opili. Okay, I don't see anyone in person or online. Okay. Moving on to government officials, starting with U.S. Marine Corps Base Hawaii.
All right, good evening, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Colonel Bevan. I'm the commanding officer at Marine Corps Base Hawaii. And a couple things for us. The next PRTF working group is, which is headed by Representative Ray Azoda, and of which Alex Scouse is a representative, is scheduled for 27 May. And my team at that point will be prepared. We've gotten some information back from the range environmental vulnerability assessment that we had conducted. And so my team will be prepared to present that to the working group here in a couple weeks from today. And then for myself, I've been the commanding officer now for 3 years. And so my tenure is coming to a close next week. But I really want to just thank this body for their partnership and mentorship over the last 3 years, both current members, but also previous members. And, Senator Favela and Representative Ray Azoda, the issues we deal with are complex. And so, we don't always have the same perspective, but the ability to dialogue and to share and to have conversations has been helpful. So just thank you to each of you for your partnership and friendship. And I'm not going far. I'm staying on the island. We'll be going over to Indo-PACOM. So I'll still be around and hopefully see you out in town and about, and keep my finger on the pulse of some of the efforts that we've been working on over the last 3 years. So with that, I'll open for any questions, comments, or concerns. And I do have to slip out after this. I've got some other things to get to. So if I don't get to shake your hand tonight, and Mitchell, we and I chatted earlier, but just again, thank you. My heartfelt thanks for the partnership. Questions for me?
Okay, no questions from the board. Go ahead.
You have any
update on the Sergeant Major of the Corps crashing his e-bike?
No comment. But lessons learned for everybody, young and old. Yes, sir.
Okay, Member Tainanes.
I just want to say thank you, Colonel, for coming out. Usually a lot of the representatives bring their staffers and stuff like that, and they relay the message to like the senator, the reps, and all that. And the buck stops with him. He comes out in the community, he listens to the community, and he's here. So it shows that they do care. So they want to be a great community member with us, and the buck stops with him. And thank you for all you do for us, for our community, and listening. And hopefully the next one coming up, they'll be as forthwith as you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, moving on, U.S. Navy.
Hi, this is Stephanie from Command Neighbor Region Hawaii on behalf of Chief Jose Hyen, who is on leave this month. He wanted to let Mr. Plowman know that they've been in touch with the installation regarding the weapons magazine expansion. They are aware of the interest, and if the board would like a formal presentation, that can be scheduled in the near future. And just let me know if would you like to work that out with Chief Hyen, and I can relay the message back to him when he gets back from leave.
Member Gorman Chang.
Yes. Hi, Stephanie. Susan Gorman Chang. I have a question
Hi.
for you.
Yes,
As
ma'am.
you know, the Navy is no longer meeting with the Community Representation Initiative, so I've been told that I can get my questions answered from neighborhood board meetings, open houses, and other places. So my question is, can you provide the certificate that all devices tested as part of the pilot study for the Navy ʻEwa Halava shaft reopening are all certified to NSF 61?
Was that question asked during the open house? I believe it
Yes.
was. Oh, okay. And then so you were in touch with Commander Benjamin
And it
Dunn.
was, okay, so what happened was he told me that was for the Department of Health, and the Department of Health, and I have a statement from the Department of Health. They say the DOH recommends that the public contact the Navy directly to request the specific third-party verification document cited in this technical memorandum. So I'm kind of getting the runaround.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes. I will forward that to Commander Dunn for response, and then I will also I do believe does he have your email as well, or did you want me to take it at this time?
No, he has it.
Okay, yes, okay, I will put that in as a due out for him to follow up with you regarding that. So you said it was during for the certification of 61, correct?
And SF 61, it's a certification to make sure that the filters they're using is for drinking water, not just remediation. It's the highest level,
Gotcha.
which we all deserve after that well was contaminated with jet fuel. Thank you.
Understood.
Member Plowman.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, Mike Plowman. Thank you for addressing us today. Yes, we would
Hi,
very
sir.
much appreciate a presentation on the progress and future plans of the Naval Magazine expansion and more specifically the changing to our roads.
Thank you, sir. I will have that to Chief Hyen.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Stephanie, this is Corey Rosenlee. I don't know if you were
Yes.
on earlier, but there was a concern brought up by community members that there are homeless living in off the West Lock area, and that these people are burning fires in that
fire
area.
trash.
Yeah, so the HPD said that they've been trying to work with the Navy, and they do share those concerns. So if you can answer this one, or you can follow up for next meeting. What is the Navy doing when they get these concerns, and are they taking any action on naval land if there are people that are homeless in those areas, and especially if they're burning fires?
Understood, sir. So I will relay back to them regarding the burning of fire trash on federal property by the homeless, correct? Okay.
Member Tainanes.
Yeah, just to dovetail off what Corey was talking about, because the Navy, I'm pretty sure get the water. The LNR get the from the water's edge up 50, then the state and then the city get the rest. So if you guys can work together and with the West Lock community, so nobody can't say to us that, hey, that's not my property and that's not mine, that's not mine. So if possible, work together.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Sherry Pollock.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say mahalo for coming to the neighborhood board meeting and answering questions and presenting to us today. And I guess my request would be that you would do the same thing with the CRI meetings. I mean, that was something set up by the EPA, and considering the severe contamination that the Navy has caused to our sole source aquifer, out of respect to the community, to continue to honor that CRI meeting commitment and show up and to answer questions, that would be the least that the Navy could do. Mahalo.
Thank you, ma'am. Definitely will relay that back to them.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Tara Rojas.
Aloha, Tara Rojas. Yes, I would like to also echo that, to have the request the Navy to show back up to the CRI meetings, and in light of the contamination of our Vai. And I wanted to bring it to the board's attention if you hadn't seen it. And this is my question and suggestion to you all, Navy rep, is that in light of the judge ruling that being poisoned by water contamination is of incident to service. So are you informing the currently and future or incoming service members that if their unit that they're living in now is contaminated, that it's considered an incident to service? So water contamination is an incident to service. So, and in light of the fact that Capilina, in affected area, which was former military housing, but yet now civilian housing. So what is your responsibility as well to that community that lies within this ʻEwa district?
I am aware that if
Sorry, Steph, I'm online. So apologies, apologies, board members and community members. My name is Joanna Delphin. I am with the Navy Closure Task Force Public Affairs Office. So with regard to Ms. Rojas's question for legal concerns, the Navy is unable to answer that. We would forward all of the concerns and questions to the Department of Justice. With regard to informing incoming residents who live on the Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam drinking water system, there is a resource guide that is provided to them in their lease. With regard to Capilina, that same resource guide is provided to the property managers, and it is up to them to distribute it. However, the Navy does provide that to them to give to their residents when they are moving into the homes.
Okay, thank you so much. Moving on, U.S. Representative Ed Case. Okay, U.S. Army. Okay, moving on, Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative, Deputy Director Kehao Pu'u.
Hi, aloha. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Mahalo. Aloha ahiahi, Kehaupu'u, DPR Deputy Director and Mayor's Rep. I apologize for being unable to attend in person this evening. So Mayor's report first would like to share that the city continues to respond to the Honolulu storm recovery. We've launched a recovery website, and the city continues cleanup and recovery efforts with community, state, and federal partners following our 3 severe weather systems that brought significant flooding to all parts of the island. To provide a consistent and reliable source of information, the city's launched a recovery website at wanoahu.org, where residents can find information on reporting home damage, health and safety tips, available assistance, and ways to support impacted communities. Cleanup continues, particularly on the North Shore, with lots of debris removal and hauling resources deployed, including dump trucks, heavy machinery, and dumpsters. As you all know or may know, the previously planned mayor's town hall meetings have all been indefinitely postponed as the administration and departments focus all our efforts on addressing the damage from the Konalo storms. A few things I want to highlight from this month's mayor's newsletter, which I believe you can find there at the meeting, hard copies. One, the mayor delivered his 2026 State of the City address. The Honolulu Zoo has earned the prestigious Association of Zoos and Aquariums accreditation, and the city's 2026 annual sustainability report has been released. And lastly, a deputy director has been named for the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. Her name is Trisha Dang. And that is our general updates. Specifically for ʻEwa Neighborhood Board, I know it's been a couple months since we've met. So these are the concerns that were raised back in March. First, Papipi Road. So the children's safety along the sideways of Papipi Road. Again, it was raised that Principal Shane Greenland requested the street signs be removed or moved from the sidewalk on Papipi Road by ʻEwa Beach Elementary School. He has mentioned that the signs need to be moved or removed so that there's a clear path for students walking or biking to school. So DTS, our Department of Transportation Services, did provide a response in February. This concern was raised again. And so the March-April response from Transportation Services is that they do not recommend removing the signs along Papipi Road between ʻEwa Beach Elementary and Kapolei Parkway. The use of these signs is in accordance with the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which establishes uniform national criteria for the use of traffic control devices that meet the needs and expectancy of road users on all streets, highways, pedestrian and bicycle facilities, and site roadways open to public travel. Also, relocating the signs to the back of the sidewalk may cause the signs to be obstructed by the existing trees planted in this area. And the grass portion is actually maintained by Ocean Point and not the city. Next concern that was raised, this is in regards to the USTA facility project. And the concern was that the community would like an alternate ingress-egress to be considered given the existing traffic issues on Keaunui Drive. So DPP responded and shared, "Thank you for notifying us of the community concerns regarding consideration of an alternate access egress point to serve the USTA facility project. We understand that the USTA is currently conducting a traffic study for the proposed project. Once the study is completed and submitted to DPP, we will evaluate the findings of the study and the possible impacts it may have on the surrounding streets. We will keep in mind the community concerns regarding an alternate access egress point to their parking lot." And 2 more to go. Honouliuli Wastewater Treatment Plant. Senator Kurt Favela is asking for an update of his request to change the name of the treatment plant. And so previous responses was that the city has evaluated the requests, including speaking to the principal of Honouliuli Middle School. The city is not planning to remove the place name Honouliuli from the treatment facility. Again, and after speaking with school leaders, the city has no plans to expend taxpayer funds in changing the name. Lastly, the transit center by the Croc Center, East Kapolei Skyline stop. Senator Kurt Favela is requesting to correct the name of the transit center. Response from DTS is that the Hawaiian names were selected by an approved Hawaiian naming working group and are consistent with the established Kapolei long-range plan. And that is the conclusion of my report. I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you, Kehao. Member Rosenly?
Thank you. About a year and a half ago, the mayor helped fund a tree removal in the back of Westlock. It used to be done every 6 months, and now it seems like it was a one and done program. But as we were sharing earlier, as summer's coming up and the dry heat's going to happen, that brush just came right back. And at the time, right after the Lahaina fires, the idea is we were trying to do mitigation. And what we were sharing earlier is, as these fires are occurring, and I've had these fires right behind my house, like just a few feet away from the brush. And I'm just waiting for an accident to occur when these fires jump over the bike path, hit the brush, and there's all this tinder just waiting. And I can imagine that the danger is going to create to the community. So I'm just wondering if there's any plans to go back and cut down the brush behind fairways in the estates.
You know what? I believe that may be a Parks and Recreation or possibly DTS Kuleana. So I will follow up.
Thank you.
Get back to you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Member Tainanez?
Yeah, Kehao.
Aloha.
Just again going off what Corey said, yeah, we just talked to the Navy, yeah, to see if they can help what they're doing. It's something similar, maybe to what you guys did in Key Lagoon with the homeless encampments that was over there. The floating ones and all that, the mangroves, and you guys did that whole
the big cleanup.
Yeah. So if you can work with the state, I mean, not only cutting down the hedges and all that, but then they say there are a lot of homeless living in the brush. So just trying to figure out a way to hit them one time, and then maybe it'll take a lot longer prior to the brush growing back. But yeah, we made it notified to the federal side. So we just got to work with maybe the state, the DLNR, and then the city with you, and then get all three agencies there with Westlock to kind of mediate the problem.
Okay, I will take that one back. Yeah, that was a huge effort by city and state. At Ke'ehi, actually still ongoing too.
And I get one more. And you was talking about Papipi Road again. The signs. You said traffic control. Those signs. I heard you keep mentioning traffic control. There's no. I think 90% of the signs was no parking signs.
I will. You know what? I apologize. I'll follow up. There's a new deputy of Department of Transportation Services. I'll see if I can get a meeting set up with maybe some of the board members or a couple of board members, Sunshine Law and DTS.
Yeah, because if you got the principal from from elementary to intermediate coming around saying it's a safety hazard for our kikis out there, and already had a close call, we're already trying to get a stoplight that had two deaths, motorcycle deaths on Geiger. We don't want nothing happening. We're trying to prevent something from happening, because I would hate for something to happen on Papipi Road. And I don't want to say, oh, we told you so or whatever. But it's not that. We just want to prevent what probably will happen, when something so simple as to move those signs onto just off, or get rid of them, or just move them to the grass. That's it.
Okay. Mahalo, Chair, Member Tananis.
Okay, any other questions? Senator, did you have a
It was kind of quick. Can you repeat the two answers you gave the answers that you had given me earlier, what you had just said about the two requests that I asked you to?
Okay, so the first regarding the name change for the wastewater treatment plant. So there was a response provided in January And that was that the city has evaluated the requests, including speaking to the principal of Honouliuli Middle School, and is not planning to remove the place name Honouliuli from the treatment facility. And then in May, again, after speaking with school leaders, the city has no plans to expend taxpayer funds in changing the name of the facility. So that was the Honouliuli wastewater treatment plant concern. For the second, which was the transit center skyline and the East Kapolei skyline, I think the concern was correcting the name. The response is that the Hawaiian names were selected by an approved Hawaiian naming working group and are consistent with the established Kapolei long range plan. So yeah, that is the response.
So just to let you know, the principal at Honouliuli was not involved. This is the reason why I get upset with the mayor. I brought him statistics and background of the significance of that name, presented it to his office, asked him if I had to go to the city council or the neighborhood board to make a resolution to change it. Again, he comes up with an excuse about money, but he can fly all the way to China and go kidnap or use taxpayers' money for some panda bears. And he cannot do something significant for the Hawaiian community? Okay, that's one. The second one, again, the skyline. I know the planning and designing for East Kapolei and all that area. But the significance, again, you take it away from our community that we grew up. The significance of the name is taken away from our people that was here, plantation to now. So again, the name of the Kapolei station, maybe you guys don't think this means nothing to you guys, but it's a false pretense. Because people in Ho'opili still think they stay living in Kapolei. Hawaiian homes think they stay in Kapolei. But when you start taking away, and I understand Kapolei was Campbell Estate, they make the whole Kapolei area, they change the name. But our region stretches from Eva Beach, part of Pearl Harbor, yeah, all the way from Black Lagoon, Pearl Harbor, yeah, all the way to Kunia, all the way to Black Rock and Nanakuli. That's our Aopo'a, yeah, and was taken, cutting up and dice and slice and everything which way. None of these guys was here, not even me, when the significance of these names means something. But you guys change names all the time, like you guys change underwear. But then when you guys come to something that is for the people, it's money now. Anybody got asked over here if you guys could spend the money for get one panda bear from China? No, but don't tell me about dollars and cents. We're talking about, again, taking away from our history of this community, of Pualoa and Honouliuli. Again, he told me, then you guys go ask the principal. How long the principal there? Does the principal live at the beach? No, he does not. Does he know the history when the first school went open and had the fight of the kids when they first went open the school, had the big fight that parents had to come from Kapolei and Eva Beach, yeah, again, to address the situation that they was being bullied, calling them the other word, but I'm going to use the word doodle, school, yeah, but they don't use something else. So again, he doesn't go ahead, and I had all of these conversations with the mayor, you understand? And he was very sympathetic. Oh, yeah, he's going to go, him and Mike Forby. Oh, yes, yes. You don't need to do that, Senator. It's a simple thing of changing a name. No, taxpayers' money. Well, again, a lot of things that the city council and the mayor does, giving you guys pay raises and everything, nobody came to the taxpayers for that. See the kind of irony you're talking about, just like with Makaiva Hills and a backdoor quarterback sneak that you guys are making to try to build that landfill? See, this is the kind of stuff is not consistent. It's not to you, Kel, because I talk to you all the time. You're a good person. But the people you're working for, they're not too good. And then the excuses that you're giving, that you, again, they're giving to the board members about cleaning up the brush over there. Yeah, oh, because it might be parks. Isn't parks part of city? Yeah. Okay, so we had the mayor with a meeting with the mayor about the parks. Parks don't show up for cleanups. They don't. That's the reason why Howbush is always half clean up, because the parks don't show up. Laura Thielen is a poor director. Okay, so you cannot tell me, because this, what we hear is before you guys' time, how many times they want that place clean out?
Thank you, Senator.
You know what I mean? So again, no, I like her answer the questions. I like her answer myself, so I understand that. You guys like move on. But again, moving on and telling us that all of these departments, they're all with the city. So why does Mike Farby and the mayor don't tell the city, go over there and clean that area? He's the boss. He has the last say. Hey, not parks. You guys all go over there with one crew, clean them up for the community. Previous mayors did that. Yeah, previous mayors, Frank Fossey, Mufi Hanneman, 2 mayors that did them. But these guys right now kick the can down the road because they don't live in our district. They don't care. So again, Cal, I like you bring that back because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna make a resolution. Yeah, I'm gonna push it forward. I want that name change for both of the areas, not because the skyline was all this was. That's be previous past. How much time do we change the tunnel? We changed the airport, right? We changed roads in a city. How much? Nobody talk about money. Come to our community, it's about money. Very disappointing in the mayor. Very disappointing. That's the reason why I think he canceled all these town hall meetings so he didn't answer questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Senator. Hello.
Okay, go ahead, Rep. Alcos.
Hi, Kel. Thank you, Chair. Aloha, Kel. Kel, I get some complaints or some guys or some requests that the ʻEwa Beach Community Park right over here, the baseball field needs some dirt. You're getting, there's 3 baseball field at the ʻEwa Beach Community Park and they need them as soon as possible. And if you cannot get the dirt there as soon as possible, let me know. I'll be able to get some friends to bring in some dirt. But please get back with me about getting some dirt. There's 3 baseball field. And then there's another baseball field at the small pool Loa Park right by Leeward Estate. That park over there, they need dirt as well. And then I do want to talk to you about what you guys already know about the rail, where the parking is filled up already. And on our right next to West Oahu area by the Croc Center. It's when you get there at 7:30, there's no parking already. People are parking on the grass, maybe on the mud area. So maybe if you can figure out a way that talk to the mayor about it and trying to get more parking in that area. And that's every day. So more people are using the rail. That's a good thing, you know, and that we can get some guys, but then all the parking lots is getting filled up. And I had one more issue. On Fort River Road, do you guys clean up on the side of Fort River Road?
I'm sure that might, I'm not, if it's city
State, the state, yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Then
And I think, let's go see. Oh, the parks are looking good because of the rain in the last couple months, right? On all our parks. And it's overgrown on all the grass is closing out all the baseball field. And we need some kind of machine to clean it up so that it can widen out the field. Is there any big problems on any of our parks in our ʻEwa Beach district right now that has major problems with irrigation? Do you know of any?
not that I know. I know at the Pu'uloa District Park, they fixed a lot of irrigation there recently. I think before the storms, there was some extensive work that happened at that park after our director and district manager met with you. So there's some work that happened there. I'm not sure about our other parks.
I just want to make sure that they keep it upgraded, and because the rain is kind of going away now, make sure the water and the sprinkler is going on before it dies again. And, you know, I don't want rainy season come and that's when our parks are green. I want it to be green because maintenance are continue going on. So yeah, give me an update if there's anything major broken. Thank you.
Thank you. Rep.
Member Rosenly.
Rep. Alcos, can you stay for 1 second? Yes. So I want to see if you're seeing the same problem I am, that the West Oahu parking lot is getting filled, but the Honouliuli one, which is just across the street, still has parking. And I'm just wondering if we need a sign telling people if this parking lot is full, go to the other station.
So there's open lots that you can park on the grass. Good thing we don't have so much rain here, but you can still park on the grass. There's open areas, but just if it is raining and, you know, and there's no light or security in that area. So Honouliuli one basically is also full. Yeah.
Okay, Tara Rojas.
Aloha, Tara Rojas, and aloha Kehao. I just was wondering, on the topic of Mayor's Town Hall, if you could just kind of keep, not have been cancellation of town halls, that even in addition to working on the issues with the cleanup of the lows, that this is, really important for the mayor to hear the voices of the community in a non-timed format, in a back and forth question and answer. So just to really push for re-establishing the town halls. That's it. Mahalo. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I just want to share with all of you that the mayor is actually the driver of the town halls. He has been the one to push for town halls, but it was a hard decision. But given what had occurred after the Kona lows and, the damages that happened and just the need to focus, um, that is why he made the decision. But it is possible that he may reschedule in the future. But I do want everyone to know, like, it's him who drives and wants to do these town halls. So it was not a hasty decision or something because he wanted to shy away from doing them. And that's all.
Mahalo.
Okay, thank you so much, Kehao.
Mahalo.
Okay, moving on to Council Member Topola, District 1.
Good evening, Chair. This is Kiko Tepeni, her Community Director. I'm here to do a report on behalf of Councilmember Chipola and our office. I would just like to excuse and apologize for her absence tonight. The only thing I have, and I wanted to update everyone on, that kind of has been a heavy and something that we've been working on and just passed in the council, is Resolution 26-7. And this resolution was the resolution for the landfill task force. And there's a task force to, in the future, and go through for us to end landfills. As a lot of people had mentioned, there is the Makaiva Hills that ENV unfortunately had proposed. And Councilmember stands to oppose that. So she's been working on 26-7, which had final reading at the council. And then we are supporting improvements at H-Power. So any funding or improvements that need to go through H-Power to reduce the landfill dependency. And then also removing the 30 million in the CIP funding that the ENV had requested for the land at the Makahiva Hills. That will be in junction to Bill 23. So we did have it removed, and the final reading for that in budget would be in June. So if anyone was open to come for that, the next committees and our next council, to make sure that it's at final, that the 30 million stays off of the CIP funding budget. Other than that, that's just a general information that we have. And I am open for any questions.
Any questions, members? Okay, I don't see anyone online. Okay, thank you so much. Rep. Alcos, go ahead.
Hi, we have a cleanup at Carlsea Road? Is it on the 20th? Or
Correct. Yes. We
23rd?
do have the flyer that we want to finalize and send out, but June 20th, it is collaboration with Rep. Alco's office, your office, and the city. So we actually had a meeting with the city parks, and we'll be doing Coral Sea, all of the area from the street to the bushes. Beforehand though, we are doing outreach with KWO. We're working with Karina and a few of the other homeless outreach that to kind of get everybody prepared for that. We're trying to do where it's helping them kind of take out trash before everything, but on June 20th is actually the community cleanup where we ask all of the community to come out. So flyers will go out. We just kind of finalize a few things. But before that, the SPO will be on the 19th and the community cleanup will be on June 20th.
Thank you. I just was confirming. Right on. Alailo.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Council Member Augie Tolba, District 9.
Aloha board members, Aaron Michael Ho here from the office of Councilmember Augie Toba. You should all have his monthly report, and there's extras on the back table for your convenience. As we head into graduation season, of course, Councilmember wanted me to encourage the class of 2026 to end strong, to make these last couple weeks count, and then to wish everyone all the best in their future endeavors. He also wanted me to give a shout out and a big mahalo to the Waiava Prison Work Detail for participating in our Earth Day project this year. If you haven't seen it yet, the Mauka side of North Road in the golf course owned portion by the LDS Church and beyond, the work detail helped us level and clear the Mauka side of the street for a safe walk path to school. And then we're in discussions now to figure out or to devise a plan on how to maintain maintain that walkway or make it more permanent. And please let us know if you want to lend a hand with that. And in the interest of time, I will end there. And please do peruse the rest of the report. And I guess we'll take back any questions.
Okay, any questions, members? Okay, Member Rosenly.
Hi, Aaron.
Sir.
Same question I'm going to pose. We talked about this before, and I asked the mayor's representative as well. It took us a long time to get that first cleaning, and then it's just let it go back again. So are there any actions planned in order to deal with the brush at Westlock?
Well, with that particular area, as the mayor's rep said, it is kind of up to city resources and obviously federal resources. In the past, Councilmember Toba has brought out construction companies to clear portions of it, but at the same time, we don't want to overburden those the largesse in the community. So when there is a plan, we would definitely like to be part of that and help where we can, but we need the city to take lead on what to do, especially since they're going to be responsible for maintaining it moving forward.
Okay, so if I can follow up, we've had the Honolulu Fire Department come here before and talk about the need for clearing brush between housing and that area. So that area is the city and county's responsibility.
Agreed. Yes.
Okay. Finally we get to that thing. It's one of those areas where at least we have that agreement. There's supposed to be a buffer zone. That buffer zone is on city and county property. They're responsible and they're not taking care of the buffer zone. Okay. And so, like I said before, we already are having fires. And so right now it's nice and wet because of the rain that we had, but that's not going to exist during the summer. And so the question is, after all this time being built up, it's worse than before, by the way. If the brush is going to build up, I'm just waiting for one of these fires to occur, and the city has this responsibility. So take it back to the council member that this needs to be responsibility that is taken care of annually, not just once and then forgotten.
Member Tainanes.
First thing, are we having a new transfer station? Is there a new transfer station in the works? The dump over here on Geiger? 'Cause I remember I was watching council members' Instagram or whatever it was, and he was talking to the guy in the front, and he mentioned something about a new transfer station. Is there something in the works or something happening?
Let me find out about that for you. It's kind of a new one on me. Just being perfectly honest.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean it's not. Let me see what I can find.
And secondly, on here it says Pulo Beach Park, large unpermitted event disturbs residents. This is back in April 12th. Okay. A few weeks ago there was a James Campbell High School large reunion there at Pulo Beach Park. And I guess residents, they complain about loud music, parking, all that kind of stuff. This was graduates from 1970s all the way to 2020 and all that. 1960. So, could be a large group, and it was permitted and stuff like that. But, I understand about noise violations and all that. But if it's a permitted event and multiple complaints come, but there's nothing you can do. But they keep calling. Can that person who keeps calling get fined? I know that's an HPD question, but I'm just asking because you put it here in there. Because at our event, you know, they got fined for like parking and whatever they could find. You know, look around and all that, and they'll find something.
So you're asking if a complainant like calls in
Multiple times
multiple
and keep
times.
going, and the cops go out there, and they could be doing a lot of other stuff, but they gotta address the call. But can they?
I wouldn't know how to answer that. Like you said, that is an HPD question, but I feel that from what I've been told, they would encourage you not to penalize people from calling because that would stop people from calling. But I don't know if there are ramifications for calling too many times or anything like that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But with regard to that particular thing, complaint, I do know, like, well, in our office, we received numerous complaints about large events in that particular park from a small handful of people, and the complaint is usually like focused on the fact that HPD didn't inform the complainants that whether or not there were permits or whether or not the details of the permits. And DPR's response was that the person complaining should reach out to the district office because they're the ones that manage all of the permits. And they're the ones that can you know, take whatever resolution it takes to whether or not they're not going to issue permits to certain people anymore, or they're going to have whatever fees apply. It's the district office that makes those calls. So we were encouraged to tell the constituent to call the district office instead of HPD.
Senator Favela.
Yeah, again, this is a problem for people that move into our community, know that they live Bound Park, and decided that they're going to be the police. Disappointment that I have, that whole situation, is that HPD has the discretion. I didn't like the excuse that they gave our community, that the guy was going to go to the news, this and that. Right now, anyone over here call a 911 call, tell you got an incident at the park. Police take 29 years for come, okay? This guy don't have that kind. You know, when I learned this from the neighborhood security watch, for that you guys know, you need multiple calls, well, not just one person, multiple person to HPD to prioritize that. So again, it was up to HPD to have the discretion not to ticket, not to fine, just to warn. Again, they never even give them one warning about the music. The music wasn't even on. So again, consistency, not for just one individual that like live around his own White Castle. It's not fair. And I know council member didn't do it a lot, but again, this is something that you got to take back to our new chief, whoever going to be. Maybe Augie can do that. But one person doesn't make up the whole community, because your planning guys had individual music boxes like they always do. People in a parking lot with the stereo. The event never even start yet. And they went over there and they fined one of my long-term friends for nothing, that she wasn't responsible. She just was the person that pulled the permit. Yeah. So again, that's the thing, that what is the message we sending to the community? If you tell them I'm gonna call news on you, Mitchell, they're gonna jump to it. That's a wrong perspective. And then he doesn't know. He don't need to know from the people there about the permit. HPD don't need to share that too. But that's what they do. We're gonna always have complaints because this person moved in the community just recently. He grumbles about everything. But we're not gonna cater to this one guy. Our park had changed since we was on the neighborhood board when I was here. From 8 o'clock at night, it's closed. So the park can be used and have a good time to 8 p.m. But until then, noise nuisance, loud noise, regulation, permits, that's all kukai. Because how are you going to regulate everybody's little boom box? They went there because it was a large event, and I guess whoever HPD, I still don't know, went there to flex his muscle. And that was wrong. The person that they did that to, we love her and respect her. She would never do anything illegal. If they wouldn't just warn them, that's what I want you to take back to HPD. If they unwarn them, and then I can see they fine them. But there was no warning about the loud music. They would just cite them. And that's disappointing. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I don't see any other questions. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Sir. Can the uh, can that area be cleared? I know that Corey mentioned that, but I remember when we walked through there, it wasn't as full of foliage.
Mhm.
We drive over on Ford River Road and we look down and that whole area, you know where the Kenowa Road, when the fire trucks went, they were able to go through.
Mhm.
We look down, it's all covered with foliage. And if it dries up, then we're gonna have more of a problem. And we went there, I think it was Ari, when we walked through the back roads along the fence, they were able to, he was said we're gonna clear some of that area, but some of it is city and some of it is another, maybe another area that people own. But some of it was cleared. Is that gonna happen like you mentioned, right? That's dangerous.
All I can promise is to try.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Board of Water Supply.
Excuse me. Aloha board members and community. My name is Keone Matos. I'm the new Board of Water Supply representative for this neighborhood board. Your former representative, Kathleen Pahinui, asked that I attend these meetings moving forward because number one, she's my boss. I work with her in the communications office. But also I was the rep here many years ago from 2009 to about 2014, and I live right down the road. So the conversations that you guys have here in this meeting have a direct connection to all of that. So grateful to be here and look forward to working with all of you. Going into our report, the month of April had two main breaks. The first was on April 10th. There's a 2-inch main break at 911711 Renton Road. On April 14th, there was a 12-inch main break at the intersection of Pohakupuna Road and Poloula Place. For our announcement this month, we're again talking about water conservation. There's been a lot of recent storms that brought a lot of rain, but water conservation is still very important. Rainfall alone is not enough to offset the amount of water that we use every day, especially during the summer months. That's why it's very important to continue using water wisely and doing our part to prevent waste. Here are some water saving tips for the summer. Water your plants early in the morning to reduce evaporation. Take shorter showers. Check for leaks at your toilets. A faulty flapper is often what's causing those toilet leaks. Do not let the faucet run unnecessarily. And lastly, apply for Board of Water Supply rebates for water efficient appliances and systems. Using water wisely helps conserve this valuable resource and can help lower your water bills as well. So for more tips on water conservation, go to our website, boardofwatersupply.com/7ways. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, any questions, members? Member Tainanes.
Welcome back.
Oh, thank you, Mitch. Good to see you.
Or should I say something else? No. Hey, question. I know they Board of Water and the sewer came back one time about putting new sewer lines in the old Eva Beach or in old areas. You know, a main line.
Okay.
And then they left the residents to tap in, find a contractor, and they gotta pay to tap into that line. Can you make sure that that doesn't come here? Because the last time we said no, we don't want to hear. They did a presentation. I don't want them kind of like sneaking in and saying, "Hey, we're gonna start digging up the road and making that line." So because all of Old Eva Beach and stuff like that is all cesspool. So they wanted to bring in that sewer line, and the resident got a out of pocket pay to tap in. So you know that's more cost to our community and stuff like that. Just saying.
Thank you for the question. I might need to refer that to the Department of Environmental Services because the BWS accepts, your water, combined water and sewer bill. The sewer system is managed by ENV. So I'll likely refer those questions to the ENV and the mayor's office, but I'll make sure to take that back. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? I don't see anything online. Okay, thank you, Board of Water.
you.
Oh, Senator.
So I guess you're not aware because you said EMV, but Board Member Mitchell, the city already put out notice. They never make the announcement, but Councilman Algetoba, they're gonna have a town hall meeting. When is you guys town hall? Daily town hall meeting? June 8th town hall meeting about that. They're gonna be putting it in. So all of our states, all over here, they're gonna be putting in requests to transfer a cesspool to sewer. And it's gonna be crazy. The part that I'm trying to get the Board of Water Supply and the Environmental Services working is that to grandfather clause in the septic tanks. Right now, EMV, Rogers said that they're not gonna grandfather that in. So a lot of family members that had made new homes expanded and they had to put the $60,000 septic tank, they're still gonna have to tie into the sewer. And that's not right. So something that maybe you can take back and work with the Board of Water Supply and EMV to, because that was a requirement from Board of Water Supply. If they build a new extension, they have to put in, not only from Environmental Services, but Clean Water Act, they have to put in a new septic tank. So if you can work with them to make sure that, I mean, we don't want it at all, but the ones that went and put septic tanks, they should be grandfathered in and not be able to have to tie in, forced to tie in, to the sewer line. Thank you, guys.
Rep. Alcos.
Hi, thank you. My question is, a few years ago, I put in a resolution for a desalination water station out at Camel Industrial. You speak about saving water, you know, and our community is growing, you know, the island is getting more and more. Wondered if you can come back next month and tell us what's your plan if something does happen? How are we going to get water? Are you guys looking in the future of getting fresh water to Oahu? Because the other islands probably can handle, but Oahu is a big problem right now. So would like to know your study or what the Board of Water is going to do about it. Thank you.
Oh, definitely can do. I know that we do have an ongoing project for that desalination plant at in the Camel Industrial area. So I can check with our staff to see if they can give maybe the board an update on that. Not only on the desalination plant, but in any of our upcoming plans for again extending our water resources and diversifying our water supplies to ensure we have water supply for our islands. So I can definitely do that, and when we have a board chair, we can schedule a presentation for that.
Marlon, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, last question for Board of Water, Tara Rojas.
Aloha, Tara Rojas. Yes, on this topic, actually, so Board of Water Supply, I was wondering, when are you guys going to update the watershed management plan? The last one for ʻEwa Beach was quite a while ago. And given that we have the Red Hill still happening, given that I'm not quite sure, I have to research more, but the desalination plant, also the fact that there's the Kalailoa master plan, you know, that all of that coming up, that we really need to look at the preservation, yeah, and good management of water. So do you know when or how we can find out more information about the update of the watershed management plan?
Mahalo, Tara. I can get you more information to you as well as to the board. Board of Water Supply is in the process of updating its watershed management plans. We're currently working in the Waianae, working on updating the Waianae watershed management plan. And I believe much like the last time we did is we go around the island completing these plans in succession. So I'm not sure what is the time frame for ʻEwa, but I can check on that and give you guys an update at the next meeting.
Yeah, and lastly, with that, can you keep in mind with the fact that the Kalailoa master plan, with the amount of building that they want to do, to keep that in mind before, you know, just kind of approving or whatnot, just the developments in this area?
Yes, I can pass it along. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Board of Water. Okay, Department of Education.
Oh, good evening.
Go ahead, Cass.
Yes, John Henry Lee, Complex Area Superintendent for the public schools in ʻEwa Beach and Kapolei. Just a couple of updates. We are in our final 2 weeks of the school year, so the tail end. Of course, with the exception of Holomua Elementary, which is the lone remaining multi-track school in the state. We have May Day tomorrow for Kaimiloa Elementary, so they're celebrating that. Next week, Monday, the 18th, is the final day of school for the Campbell High School seniors. So they will be finishing their last day next week, Monday. So we wish them the best. Celebrate safely. Their graduation for Campbell High School is the 27th. That's at Stan Sheriff. Elim Intermediate is the day before that on May 26th, and that is on their own campus for Elim Intermediate. Last day of school for all of our students except for Holomoa is May 28th. I also want to give a big shout out and show appreciation to our friends in the legislature, the state senate, and our House of Reps for funding the much needed elementary school in Ho'opili. So that was a big ask in the supplemental year. So appreciate the hard work done with that. We do need the governor to release that as soon as possible with an estimated date, if that happens quickly, of 2029 for that elementary school in Ho'opili. So opening in 2029 if everything goes as planned. So that's it for myself. If there's any questions.
Members, any questions? Members of the public? Okay, I don't see anyone online. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Governor Green's representative. Okay, I don't see anyone in person or online. Hawaii Department of Transportation. Okay, no one in person or online. Senate District 19, Senator Rochelle Lamasau. Okay, no one in person or online. Senate District 20, Senator Kurt Favela.
Law board members, community members. Just a couple of highlights. I'm not sure if you guys got, I emailed out my community flyer. First of all, I want to congratulate the James Campbell High School class of 2026. You know, we had a lot of stuff happening at the square building, you know, but again, highlighting stuff like our Campbell High School Saber Showcase, and about maybe 300 of our students that got recognized and awarded. And then, of course, we had a Ilima WASC group meeting that was very successful. And of course, we had James Campbell High School's May Day program. I don't know if you guys ever get a chance to go to that program. I think this is the second annual year. It was an unbelievable May Day program. I was very impressed. And of course, we had the college signing day. It was very exciting to have that. And then we had the senior breakfast at Campbell High School for all the seniors of 2026 with their families, and having the and breakfast at the and ʻEwa Beach Elementary National Elementary Honor Society ceremony, and then of course the ʻEwa Elementary Showcase. that was one good one to be at. So again, guys, a lot of good things happening. We got the final funding for the last 8 years. We've been highlighting our sports complex. We got the last part of the money to complete the project of the rest of the project for Campbell High School's athletic sports complex. So we got the last $2 million was approved through financing this year. Once that money is transpired, the funding for the school facilities is already done. So, and then of course, another one was that the DOE had put in for, let me see over here, was 1.5 million, 1,500,000 for some kind of improvements that they want to do here at the library. So those are the things that is happening. And I just wanted to share because our community is really concerned about the e-bikes. So I just want to let you guys know HB 2021 had passed. Representative Darius Keela had put this in. So I'd like to let you guys understand, so what HPD going to be, why was that bill very important to our community? So HB 2021, the Hawaii Transportation Bill, focused on regarding the electric bikes and other electric mobile devices. The measure established safe rule e-bikes and riders, created definition of electric bikes or high-speed electric devices, restricted of them a certain high-speed devices, mopeds, electronic motorcycles, and also required labeling and signage for e-bikes allow to be seized. This is what HPD never have. At the time, they couldn't seize the device. They call them a device because there's multiple, right? So they did that, they worded it that way, so the bikes are going to be confiscated and taken away for seizure. And then the reason why that is really good is because to aim to improve public safety while providing a clear registration and emerging, I guess, mobility and other things for our community. Because our community, you guys already know, we had a lot of incidents with the e-bikes, and HPD can, and then the other question was, okay, so now we get the law. How are they going to catch them? Not is how are they going to catch them, is when they catch them, those bikes are going to be taken. You guys know those bikes is like $7,000, $8,000. When you start taking that bikes off the road and people know that their bike might be getting confiscated, they're going to hesitate to do illegal activities out on the road. You know, and then again, we talked about it a little bit from Kaz Lee about the 73 million for the plan and design for the new Ho'opili Elementary School. I call them ʻEwa Beach High School, elementary, but they have another name for it. I'm not going to say the name. But anyway, so they have 73 million planning and design. The reason why I bring this up is because she wasn't here tonight to talk about it. And as Senator now, Senator Lamasau, I was in the hearing. And the reason why I bring this up, I was in the hearing when she brought the DOE in and asked them that they was going to bypass that again. Governor took away our money previous year. Me and Senator Henry Aquino fought the governor, but they took it for Lahaina, and we didn't get the funding. This year was going to get zero funding. DOE was going to put in zero, the governor was going to give, and the DOE was going to put in zero funding. She got up and she lobbied the chair, De La Cruz, and the vice chair, Amora Waki, to have the DOE come back to the Capitol and explain to her why this is not a want, it's a need. So if you guys know that area, kids from the Hawaiian homes in ʻEwa Beach are going to Bobas Point Elementary. ʻEwa Elementary is overcrowded, even though we had fund when I first got elected back. We'll get about 2 or 3 new portables. Those portables are still not enough. So again, they're still going to be overcrowded, and we really need the new elementary school. School not even built, and it's going to be overcrowded already. We want to make sure that Holomoa too don't be on a track system. But those are the things that we are working for, and the infrastructure that is coming to be the priority for our community. So those things are very important, I guess, with the quality of life what we have, and of course our road improvements and whatnot. But again, I'm here for any questions you guys get. Any questions? But I wanted to share the e-bike one because it was very important to this community. A lot of calls about that bill. Well, thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Senator. Questions? Go ahead. Member Plum.
I don't mean to pick on Senator Favela personally.
No.
There wasn't a state or there wasn't a governor's rep. The other day on the radio, I'm listening and they said, okay, super El Nino this year. It's true. I talked to a National Weather Service forecaster. The water is going to be warm this year. There's going to be storms, stronger storms. Then they said on the radio, none of our shelters can withstand anything more than a Cat 1 hurricane. We know this already. There's bills out there to fix that. They never pass. They say shelter in place. And if you can't shelter in place, find a friend who has upgraded their house. That was the advice from the state. I hope they got a lot of body bags. I mean, I'm not kidding. One of these days, we're going to run out of luck. And we got nowhere to go. All the Spam, toilet paper, and bottled water in the world is not going to matter to you if you can't survive the storm. And we got a lot of people in this district, in this neighborhood, who are going to be forced to evacuate. The storm surge zone, they're going to come through there and they're going to make you leave. What if you don't have a friend that's got a reinforced house? So I we just keep kicking this thing down the road and never get any legislation passed that would mandate that government funded or publicly funded buildings have a measure of public shelter capability. We just finished another session, and as far as I know, none of those bills that would have changed that passed. So I'm not picking on you particularly, but for all of our state senators and reps, man, we got to do something, because one of these days, I was on Kauai right after Iniki. We would have hundreds of thousands of deaths here. So I just put that out there that we are being suggested to do, recommended to do preposterous things in the face of potential catastrophic storms. And I would ask all the state senators and reps to make it a priority in the next session to really get some meaningful shelter capability for the community.
Yeah, so we had a bill to put all emergency management, everything in one location, and that was in Waipio. Because all the areas that you just talked about during a big storm, all of the emergency services, you guys just seen the previous storm, emergency management was useless. They couldn't get out there. It was too far. Couldn't get out there in time. So had a bill, Senator De La Cruz had introduced a bill to make everybody in the Mililani Tech Park, where, that area, and all the land, state land, to build a one-stop shop for all the emergency response units, yeah? Even HPD, whatever. The governor vetoed the bill, okay? So if we don't have a plan for this, we don't have a plan, because emergency management and the disasters, all these guys, they don't have a plan. Even if we put in money and we say we want it, where would we put it in ʻEwa Beach, Waianae, Waipahu, that would be safe enough to everybody to evacuate? There's no place. So even when I talk about not having the trees on the main fairway, they never passed a law because the guys that hug trees really love trees. They didn't care. If there's a big storm, we're not going to get out of ʻEwa Beach, guys. Those trees are going to fall down on Fort Weaver Road and Kapolei Parkway, and we're going to be stuck. And I brought that up 8 years ago, that we need to have a plan, an evacuation plan, because when I was on this board, we had members come to us and said the same thing that you're saying. And they still yet, again, even though we put them in, some of these bills don't even get across the line, don't even get on hearing. Because again, this is what they're thinking, and you guys know this. Not going to really happen like this in Hawaii. Not going to happen. We're going to have hurricanes, but not going to be that big. But again, are we prepared? None of our emergency management, state and city, is prepared for anything. Anything. You guys seen that, what happened in Wailua, Waianae, and Laie. They're not ready. Days and days took them to go out there and rescue people because they couldn't get out there fast enough. But again, one suggestion that I again asked the board to do and our community members, I don't know if you guys remember Mitchell, some of the longtime board members, we used to have civil defense. They used to be community members in cars with the yellow light and had civil defense on top, had the walkie-talkie and the PA to tell you where to go, give you information ahead of time, how to get out and evacuate to the certain areas. Believe it or not, Campbell, the library, the high school cafeteria, the gym used to be in that until they went change them during the Japan tsunami. So they moved it. So we don't have one. But I think we need to bring back civil defense in the community, communitize the people in the trenches. Then they can tell the people, hey, people is dying out there for help out there in Wailua. In Waianae, we get 4 feet of water. How are you going to know that if you got to send somebody through and they cannot get there? How are that going to happen? We had civil defense. The community members was the eyes and the ears, which they still is, eyes and ears in the community. And they could mobilize, work with HPD and all the emergency services to let them know the priority spots. That was the excuse. They never know. How you not going to know? How you not going to know? I'm pretty sure your phone going to ring just like everybody else's one in the room. But again, even if we put in a bill, where is the plan to bill it? Again, city and state government got to put land aside, and they're not going to even fund it. They can't even fully fund a new high school. That's going to be $1 billion, So again, what is the priority? That's the kind of stuff that you got to hold all of us, a new governor, our new mayors to the fire. If they don't have a plan, don't vote for them. Gotta have a plan. These guys gotta have a plan for our community. So the other one was, they said, okay, no need worry, ʻEwa Beach, because Coast Guard is right there. Okay, storm you talking about, it'll wipe out Coast Guard because they're that close to the ocean. So then how are we gonna get these big helicopters to come mobilize and take our families out of ʻEwa Beach? We'd be stuck, we'd be done, you know? And I want to just tell you the truth, and board member Mitchell noticed, when I had the other tsunami warning, me and my family just stayed home. Because we're gonna go on the road, we're still gonna die, right? If there was that big of a storm, we're still gonna die. So we might as well stay in our house and die with our family than die out on the road with other people trying to get out of Dodge. So I really think we need to do better for you guys. And it's something that we can work together with the neighborhood board and our emergency services and try to get something for you guys. That's the best we can do. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Senator. Moving on, Senate District 21, Senator Mike Gabbard.
Yes. Aloha board and community members. I'm Melanie. I'm Senator Gabbard's community liaison. And I'm just here to let you know that Senator Gabbard's main newsletter is now available. And it has a big legislative wrap up of this past session that just ended on May 8th. And I'll be sure to drop that link into the chat. And I'd also like to invite everyone to Senator Gabbard's next Listen Story community meeting. It'll be happening on Saturday, May 30th from 9 to 10 a.m. at the Kapolei High School Teachers Lounge. And this again will be a full legislative wrap-up meeting where the senator will share a review of the session, any major bills, budget items, and answer all community questions. And a Zoom option is also available for that, and you can just email us to RSVP. And as always, please feel free to contact our office if there's anything at all we could help with. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions back to the senator.
Members, any questions? Member Plowman?
Hi, Melanie. Thanks for being here. It's not a question. I would just ask you to pass along to Senator Gabbard the same thing, the same concern that I shared with Senator Favela, that it's insane that we don't have a way to survive a major hurricane on this island. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'll be sure to bring that back to Senator Gabbard, and I can follow up with you guys with an email.
Okay, thank you, Melanie. Okay, moving on, Representative District 39, Representative Perrick. Okay, Representative District 40, Rep. Julie Reyes-Oda.
Hi, Representative Julie Reyes-Oda, District 40. First thing I actually wanted to start out with was announcing a town hall that I'm going to have on June 17th, 6:30 p.m. at Pohakea Elementary School. Ironically, it brings up a couple of things that we talked about. Best time to plan for a disaster is now. And we're going to have James Burke starting off that night from AARP with helping people create a disaster plan. So he's going to come there with papers and teaching people how to do that so that they can plan it. Because we need to learn how to take our own first. We're going to have Mike Lambert from DLE. He's going to come to talk about illegal fireworks prevention because 4th of July will be 2 weeks after that. So I think the residents probably want to hear about prevention as well as what to do, on that day and around the days surrounding that time. I'm going to have Deputy Director Kehau Pu'u from Parks and Rec, as well as CPT, Community Policing, come to talk about issues that have come up a lot in this session, not during the session, but as far as contacts to the office regarding homelessness at parks. So she's going to talk about parks and he's going to talk about e-bikes, and they will together talk about homelessness at parks. And then I'm going to talk about legislative updates and bills at that time. So that's going to be the topics at that town hall. Next, I want to talk about something that, of course, is near and dear to me, which is food for our kids out here on this side. For summer, they're going to start Kau for Keiki for weekly food distributions, which will start in the state June 1st to July 31st. ʻEwa Beach site is going to be at AmVets on Tuesdays from 3 to 5. I think it's 3 to 5 at AmVets, entering Iroquois Point. I will be there every Tuesday that I am in state. Somebody from my office will be there. I was there every time I was in state last year. Because of the numbers last year, my office has coordinated with Boys and Girls Club. So we started doing a third meal program. They started it in January. So they offer a third meal. It was Wednesdays. Now it's Monday and Wednesdays. So they're going to offer it. They offered it from January through now. And then during summer, they're going to start it earlier because they don't have school. So there's meal offerings there for people, for kids who have signed up and are members of Boys and Girls Club. For sites that are not schools, they are able to be part of that program for schools being Title I. But if they're not Title I, or sorry, if they're not a school like Boys and Girls Club, they took the elementary school nearest to them, which is Pohakea, and they're Title I. So that's how come they were allowed to be able to do that. Let's see. The PRTF working group, we're going to have our next meeting on May 27th at 10 a.m. at the Capitol. And I think that's it. As far as this legislative session, I can talk about two resolutions that I wrote that passed. HR 12, which was urging the city and county of Honolulu to establish a permanent landfill host benefit program and program advisory group. It's to help communities that have hosted landfills and will host landfills to ensure that we urge the city that we need to compensate them for hosting landfills, because if landfills were something great that everybody wanted, everybody would want them in their community and would ask for them, but they don't. So for the communities that keep getting them, we should pay them for having them there. The second one was HR 14, requesting the State Charter Public School Commission to conduct a study on increasing access to stable, suitable, and affordable facilities for public charter schools. For anybody who knows about charter schools, one of the issues are facilities. So it's really looking at unused state facilities to do a study on that and to see what unused state facilities we have and to see what could be used for schools. And as far as for grants, I guess it's we repeating some of the other ones, but for grants that came out for Eva Beach, I'm just going to mention two that's important to me. One is 200 for GIA, sorry, grants and aid. $200,000 went to the Hawaiian Humane Society. We have a site out here in Eva that's going up towards West Lock. So part of that would come out here. The second one was $85,000 to Best Buddies. Best Buddies offers friendship and leadership development program for individuals with or without intellectual and developmental disabilities in Hawaii. They do come to Campbell High School, and I think next year they might, oh, he left, they might come to Ilima Intermediate. So, you know, that's a program here that would affect us. And then lastly, I think it was also mentioned earlier, the construction of East Kapolei Elementary School. It is fully funded, shall I say. The fully funded was 146 million. It came out to be 143 million through the funding. For construction, the state had already put permits in February, so if it wasn't funded, they would have to pull it out. But we are good to go as far as starting on there. Of course, it is just in the phase of putting in permits, but they are on their way to do that. So this is a construction money. It is not just for design. So their design was already done, but there's design money in this too. But we're hoping to make sure that this can stay within budget to get this up. There also is, and I'm going to make sure that I repeat this because Senator Favela mentioned it, 1.5 million to this public library. And this public library is for, I think, design to be able to do improvements here. When we talked about overcrowding, I want to make sure that everybody hears this one because I think the numbers are a little bit more jarring. When we look at two zip codes in the state, 96706 and 96707, which is Eva and Kapolei, more than 1 out of every 10 students in public school attend schools in this two zip codes. So it is heavily concentrated here. I believe it's 8.5% of kids just in Eva Beach or what we call Campbell Complex alone. And if we brought it out to Leeward District, which is Pearl City to Makaha, it's 1 out of every 4 students in the state. So when we look at the needs of schools, the needs for schools are here. So of course we need to build schools. Yes, we're getting another school, but we need more. So there are lands that are given to us by D.R. Horton. One of them mentioned was the high school, but there are other pieces of land too. So in talks with the DOE, it really is about controlling costs for building schools. Because if schools are estimated as the high school is at 700 million, or if they're coming in at 150 million with escalating costs, as we're building them, we're not going to be able to keep getting new schools. And I think for anybody who also is looking at capacity, DR Horton in its full build is 17,500 units. Not looking at every other thing that's building around in Kapolei too. So if you think about that, and these aren't kupuna units, these are units that are going to hold families that are going to go to schools. So for all of those there, we need schools out here, and maybe we need to right size our school system to make sure that the schools come here, and maybe look at how we need to close our schools. And I believe it was, I think it was HB, I think it was 1744. It was Representative Yamashita's bill, which is looking at school closures, because we opening a school with only 80 kids is spending money. Maybe we need to put them in a school that's close to there and spend the money out here. But I think that's about it, and I will try to answer any questions as best as I can.
Members, any questions? Okay, I don't see anyone online. Okay, thank you, Ms. Reyes-Ora. Okay, moving on. Representative District 41, David Alcos.
Thank you, Chair, Board. Never see you guys long time, so aloha. Just want to share, we just finished the session, and maybe next month I'm going to share with you guys of what kind of money and finance that we got in District 41 and what kind of bills that we introduced out there. I'm just going to make it kind of brief. As we talked to Andrea, staff, that we're doing a cleanup at Coral Sea Road by White Plains, and we're going to try to attack the bathrooms, in the back of the bushes, and try to get some areas on the side of Coral Sea Road as well. The 400 acres that we're looking on, the Navy that gave the city and county, we're still working on trying to get that to be parks and recs and a racetrack. I believe I talked to Andrea, and she said that she got $1.8 million in plan and design right now. I'm also working with University of Hawaii on trying to do one plan of what they can build in that area. So we're trying to see how we can kind of get that 400 acres moving. Sorry, my phone is at 2%. And we just finished every second week of the month. We have a Kapuna jam session, and it's cute, 70, 80. If you guys get any of your Kapunas, your mom or grandma that want to come out and jam ukulele, it's so cool. And that's every Wednesday. This is at Asing Park, but the next 2 months it's going to be at West Oahu Community College. I'm also working with Pastor Dan right here at Calvary Chapel. We're going to do a homeless outreach with also River of Life. River of Life, we're going to be feeding the homeless hot food, cutting the hair, giving them a shower, try to see if we can get a little bit more things that we can give the homeless, and maybe medical needs as what we get. So we're working on a plan, as that should be every last week or the third week of every month. So that should be coming in the next couple weeks from now. I'm also doing a town hall meeting next week here at the library. It would be about cost of living. That was a big issue on our families, and see what we can, I'd like to hear their concerns, and be also to share on some of the things that we have. And it's going to be on Wednesday here. And then I wanted to share about what else I had. Hang on, before I finish. Sorry. Last one. There's a golf tournament for the Sabres alumni coming up in the next couple months. So whoever can come, I just want to put it out there on the people who are watching to join and support the James Campbell High School golf tournament. And I was also out there at the park the day I had the alumni. I set up the tents, we set up some music, we set up some things. And firsthand, I was there and see how the police really was mistreated, I feel, to the alumni and what they did. And I even tried to take the ticket away from, the person who got the ticket. And I did talk to Laura Thielen, I did talk to Roland. You know, their hands was tied behind the back with the police that I didn't even know that was out there. And, you know, yeah, there was no music playing. There was no big noise going on. It was planning on just going out there and have jamming with, you know, our local classmates that want to just enjoy. And it was 23 years we've been doing this at the community park. And, you know, I was blessed to help out. You know, Dale Newcomb did a great job every time putting out this class reunion and never did have a bad incident, never have fight, never have argument. The police officer said, if you guys going to turn on the music, I'm going to arrest somebody and you guys go in jail. You know, and it didn't matter when I tried to call these higher ups, the police officer saying that he's addressing a concerned call by the neighbor. And like Mitch said, you know, I can see if this was the rifle range is right over there and it shoots gun, you know, it's way louder than the music that is playing out there. So I feel we did have permits. They did have, and we did one for the football team when they won. We never needed the sound decimal thing. And, you know, so these guys are just pulling all the things. So other than that, if you guys have any questions.
Members, any questions? Okay, I don't see anyone in
Thank you.
person or online. Thank you, Rep. Alcos. Okay, Representative District 42, Diamond Garcia. Okay, I don't see anyone here or online. Okay, moving on to committee reports, starting with Parks. Okay, Education. Transportation. OMPO. Okay, Public Safety, Community Outreach, Homeless Outreach. Economic Development. Climate Change. Okay, Hawaiian Affairs. Okay, Military Affairs. Go ahead, Member Plum.
Just expect a meeting soon. I don't have a exact date nailed down, but everybody will get agendas sent to them in the email. So very soon.
Thank you so much, Member Plowman. Okay, announcements. The next regular meeting of the ʻEwa Neighborhood Board will be in June 2026 at 7 p.m. We will get the date announced soon. Meeting adjourned.